All right, let me jump into that again. All right, howdy. Welcome to this week's episode of Vikings, Outlaws, and Cowboys. I'm your host, VIKINGS, the bearded one. You call me JT for short. Today we have a special guest on the show. I'll get to him in a second, as well as the bougie one. But before we get started, I'm going to do some real quick highlights of what we're going to talk about today. So, very first thing, we're going to talk about our special guest origin story. We'll jump into some men's mental health. We're going to revisit the pillars of being a man, because I think a lot of people forgot what that was, because it's really important, and I think our guest has some more things to add to it. And then we're going to jump into Conspiracy Corner this afternoon. We're going to talk about our favorite conspiracies. I hope that y'all are ready for an amazing episode. But without further ado, I am, of course, always joined by his bouginess, Alex the Jarl Martinez.
Ma'am.
And we've got Mike Caldarise in all of his glory here from Two Mics Live. How's it going, Mike?
I am doing great, boys. You guys have graced us so many times with your presence on our show. You killed it, and it's an honor to be with you. Honestly, man, it's been great, man. Long day for me. We just did an hour and a half. Had Captain Phillips on the show. We didn't know if he was going to show up or not, but he came through in the end. It was really fun, man. But love doing this this podcast and shit since I've been doing it, and love watching you guys, man. What you're doing is really good. Like I you guys see me all the time. I'm texting you saying, yo, this needs to be a short, because that's how much I love what you're doing. You guys have a lot of wisdom.
I like to attribute that to the drink. So I'm gonna start off with what I'm drinking tonight. So I've got the standard, my standby, my favorite, which is the bourbon from the Montana Whiskey Company. Top three bourbons in my life. It's real talk.
Really?
Yeah. What are you drinking tonight, Al?
So I have my favorite. I have the JMO.
That's not your favorite. The Tin Cup's your favorite. Don't lie to your audience.
I mean, it's like my liquor cabinet running low.
I'll give you it's your favorite because it's everybody's Irish this month.
Well, and you can't like run up to the bar always and just order Tin Cup. But I have JMO, and then I have some dented brick on backup, because this shit's gonna get wild. So, Mike, welcome to the Thunderdome.
Let's fucking go.
I thrive in a Thunderdome. And for the Thunderdome, I brought a handle of Jack Daniels. So let's have a good time, boys.
Part of me is just waiting for you to rip off that white shirt, just have a wife beater underneath, and just talking fucking some slang or some shit. I don't even know what to do right now.
Just go full Jersey, dude.
Yeah. There it is. Fucking nailed it.
I definitely have a beater.
Oh, we knew it.
Yeah, come on. I'm stereotypical Jersey wife beater and all. The only difference is I try to wear the clean ones for the show. There's no holes. There's no stains on this one. No beer stains. Because it's not a proper wife beater unless there's a stain and a hole in it.
You gotta get
I got a couple of them.
That's fucking rad, dude.
It's like, great job. You nailed me, huh? Hang.
Before we get into the introductions, I do want to let you know, in the spirit of St. Patty's Day, yesterday I did watch Boondock Saints.
Boondock Saints, huh?
Yeah, and if you ever want to try to speak you're Irish, really simple. You just have to quote one line from St. Patty's Day, and then you can just run with it.
Yeah, you can Irish goodbye.
Yeah, you could be like, my line is, "What you gonna use a fucking rope for? Is that all right, Rambo?" And then I'm in. And so go ahead.
Yeah, I don't know. I like St. Patrick's Day's never been a thing for me. It's huge around me. So the parade has got, there's a different parade. They started it like 2 weeks early in this place called Belmar. That's how big it is. And then they have a different parade at different place. So we have a huge Irish population here, but it's not just Irish, it's like everywhere, everyone's Irish and everyone's drinking and green beer. And it's a reason to drink.
Holiday. You can't not show up for that.
Yeah. Put it this way. I don't like people. I don't like being in big groups of people. And when you have to park, 5 minutes, 10 minutes by walk away, and then you have 1,000 people. It's just not my type of thing. I do it very, very, very seldomly. But this year was fun. We had a really good time celebrating a 21-year-old birthday. And I looked around, and it was like, it's St. Patrick's Day. It's all green and it's all white people. And I was like, it's fucking too white for me. You got to get a little more diverse. You got to get a little more diversity to this. I need some more colors. This green color. I need some reds. I want some browns in this motherfucker. I'm just kidding. But I like making fun of all that shit. But
Dude,
sorry, guys. It's like I said, been a long day. Keep me on track because I can stray.
That's totally good, dude. We both grew up. We both grew up in Utah, so I don't know what you talk about, like cultural diversity. We have white people and then different shades of white. So that's
Nothing
fine.
but salt. Salt.
Yeah.
And yeah, I'm classified as white, bro. But look at my face and then look at my shirt, and the shirt's white. Face is definitely not white. So in the summertime, like I said on my show today, I'm brown as hell. Like me and you, Jarl.
It
We're
makes
gonna
two of
do
us.
this again. And
Yeah.
mhm.
I'm gonna start
Yeah.
wearing a beater just for you, man.
I
Please
can't
don't.
believe you guys. So the wife beater's not a thing by you guys, huh? So
It's too hot.
no,
It's too
Dude,
hot
no,
in the
really?
summer.
Man, here, yeah, dude. Like even in Montana, like Montana's a fucking crazy place. Like, 3 weeks ago it was negative 31, and then here in like another 2 months or 3 months it'll be a fucking 108.
Yeah, exactly. I think when I left on
Okay.
Monday, it was like 60 degrees, and then it snowed 8 inches overnight. So
So
Yeah.
we get that too. So sometimes in Jersey we get we get the wild swings. It's been really warm though, honestly. It's been very warm. But this just I feel naked under my body if I just have a t-shirt on. I
Well,
just my whole body feels naked. I need the wife beater. I mean,
I
once
think-
again, and then when in the club when we were kids, you had the black wife beaters that were real tight, and I was like real chiseled up, so you could take that off, and that's all you were wearing in the club, fist bumping and shit in a wife beater all mangled up.
I could totally just see you on the
I just
Jersey
saw
Shore
it.
doing that
I
shit.
just saw it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
fucking just had mental images. Well, let's get into the bulk of the cast here.
Yeah.
So we've all heard my origin story. We've heard the Jarl's origin story. So tell us about you. Like, so you are one of the co-hosts on Two Mics Live. We
Yep.
actually met you through Nick or Boondock Guy. He's a shadow celebrity, is what I like to call him. He like hangs out in the shadows and just fucking connects people
Dude,
in
he's
a
like
really
he's like
interesting
love
way.
I love him.
connection. Love connection, dude.
Yeah,
He loves it. Everyone needs Nick in their life. If you don't have a friend like Nick in your life, you're missing out sorely. You know?
agreed.
I mean, you really
Agreed.
are. And he's been a really good friend for a really long time. And it's crazy because like me and him didn't know, like he was one of my college roommates basically, right? Lived right across the hall from me. And then we haven't spoke really in 17 years. Cause back then it was like, we got out of college, you didn't have everybody's phone number, and then their phone number changed. And, back before you could keep your number, I remember porting your number was like a big thing back in the day. And
Oh,
then
yeah.
somehow through my other friend Eric, we all got back together. And then lo and behold, boom, we're doing this, and somehow I meet you guys from Eric, really, who got us all back together. So it's just crazy how everything comes full circle. It's really quite something. It's awesome.
Yeah, dude's fucking Boondock Guys apparently started. So he told me the thing. So like, I don't know if you're familiar with the Drinking Bros or any of the like that. So I was part of the Drinking Bros group for a while as a vet, and like you just get on there so you can just steal the fucking awesome memes that are really fucked up, and you send them to your friends because if you have to see it, they have to see it, kind of feel, right? And
It's like take one, leave one.
yeah, dude, for real.
It's like
And,
your hard drive in the Marine Corps.
Yeah, dude, for real. So I thought he was part of that. So I was like, he just started messaging me out of the blue, just like, dude, I can't wait for the meadery to get going, blah blah blah. And I was like, cool, man. Where the fuck are you at? Like, I have no idea who you are or where you're at. You don't have like a profile photo. You don't have shit. You click on him and you go to his like fucking Instagram page. It's like, I'm a ghost. It's like, fuck.
He's
dude.
Reacher. He's fucking Jack
He
Reacher.
totally
man.
is.
So, yeah, he is 100%.
And then
But
he
so
tells me that he just was like, hey, follow my buddy Mike. He started a podcast. He's on Rumble. So I fucking downloaded Rumble, and I was like, oh, now I have to create another fucking social
Oh,
media
yeah.
profile.
Yeah.
And then so I do it, and I watch a couple of shows. And these guys are pretty cool. So I subscribed and followed you guys or whatever. And then out of the blue, I'm literally in the middle of conducting a work call, and I get this message. Hey, I need you to jump on a podcast today. I'm like, okay,
What?
why? And so that's how we met. But how did you get into this?
Oh yeah.
What
And that show was awesome. You guys fucking nailed it, that show, man. You came on and kicked ass. Our show is brand new, but we're putting up some really big, we're putting up bigger numbers than I ever thought, I thought we were going to do okay, but we're putting up big numbers, and your show's up there, and you guys started that off with a bang, and I can't tell you how much I appreciate it.
Your
But
guys'
where did I
numbers are
start off?
huge.
Yeah.
It's
How'd you get into this shit?
So how did I get into podcasting overall? Is that what we're asking, or my
Let's
origin
just go.
story?
Let's go from like 18 to now. Like,
Well, that could be a while though, because
I know,
So
but like, I
can
want to
lump-
hear like more about the black wife beater and beating the beat.
Okay, so from 18 years old, so put it this way, we were like the Jersey Shore, which is what bothers me, is because the people at the Jersey Shore that they brought in to play the Jersey Shore weren't even in our area. They were the people from Manalapan and up north that were like came down only on Sunday, afternoons and Saturday nights and late Saturday night, and they were always the biggest pains in the asses. But so 18, it was I was partying at the Jersey Shore. We had the MTV beach house there. I could tell you story after story about that, but we had a lot of shit. But so I went away to college, and God's honest truth, my whole story was, if you want to hear from 18, I could sum it up like this. I was playing Division I baseball, and got into a situation where where you have a guy that's like every girl's best friend. He happened to be best friends with my girlfriend and a couple other my friends' girlfriends on the baseball team, and really like being that douchebag friend causing division, talking shit about us and blah blah blah. So one night
The one
we
that
were
you don't
drunk.
have to worry about. The one you don't have to worry about.
Yeah. Oh, you don't have to worry about him. He's just a friend.
He's just a friend.
Just a friend.
So we like ran the school. It's tough to really imagine, but to make a long story short, me and a buddy of mine went, grabbed him out of his room, smacked him around, and wound up getting kicked out of school for it.
Oh shit.
Right? Yeah. So I did it just to scare him. I smacked him. When we left, there's a lot to the story, but my buddy punched him and split him open, and his parents happened to be legit billionaires, and they were like, "Yeah, I'll see you back later," right?
Fuck.
So no more Division I baseball and the whole 9 yards. So I wind up in North Carolina, and that's where I met my wife. So once again, you talk about things that like happened for a reason. Well, yeah, I wasn't meant to play fucking pro ball or anything like that. I was meant to meet my wife and do this. So, just from happenstance, and we had kids early. I wound up being a Mason. So it was crazy. I was going to college, and then my college summer job. Sorry.
Mason, like not the creepy weird ones, but like
Dude,
a regular one.
He's 33 degree, man. I'm telling you.
So
he knows all the secrets.
I definitely know none of the secrets, right? Maybe I had, maybe it's, it's like the stuff that you guys made me watch. Maybe every brick I touch, there's hidden knowledge in the brick. I'm able to somehow siphon that knowledge out without even realizing it. It's subconscious type shit that I'm just sucking it out. Possibly, who knows, right?
Osmosis.
Who knows what it is? But so I wind up in North Carolina. We have our kid. And I started being a Mason. And it's like, so I do like custom fire places, pizza ovens, stuff like that. It was really the stuff I was a laborer for while I was going to college. So it was my college summer job, right? And so my college summer job wound up being my occupation, and that paid for all of my college. Isn't that some shit?
Oh, dude, it makes so much sense. It's that trade thing that we were talking about.
Yeah.
Make the kids do a trade.
So I'm very opinionated. I've always been opinionated. I've always been a person that loved to debate. I love to argue. I always want to test myself. I love people looked at me in a certain way. They always looked at it stupid, so I almost Columboed people, back in the day. But I love arguing and discussing things. And everyone used to say, "Mike, you have to do a podcast. You have to do a podcast." And I didn't even know what a fucking podcast was. I listened to the radio. I listened to sports radio on the radio all day, every day. Was no podcast or any of that stuff. And then COVID hit, and there was nothing to do. And I live in New Jersey, the communist state of New Jersey.
Oh, so you got the COVID. You had the COVID launch too.
Yeah, the COVID launch. So it's when you have nothing to do, you go, okay, what can I do? So I'm very good at certain things. So another college summer job was I was a strip club DJ. So I feel comfortable on a microphone. I've always felt comfortable in front of people. I've never had the stage fright of talking in front of groups. What's that?
Wait, let's make sure we know. Like,
I was definitely yes.
You were the DJ, not on the pole, right? I mean, I'm not going to judge you either way.
No, I was definitely a strip club DJ for the girls. Yeah.
Ladies' night.
DJ.
Yep, ladies and
DJ.
gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, grab your glass, get off your ass, go on by and say hi to Ginger, working the main stage for you all night long. $3 blowjobs in the VIP room. Get them while they're hot.
That was
Yeah, so-
now all of a sudden
Yep.
now I have a completely different understanding of the chiseled black.
It's got so much better.
So better.
You don't
dude.
even play it around, yes. Mhm.
He's just creating mind movies.
So yeah, where the fuck were we? Because I can get off track really quick. You guys.
So
gotta
you
keep
were
track of it.
so you were on your way through the
The
strip
strip
club
DJ scene, summer
Oh,
job.
yeah,
summer job.
So I always felt comfortable on a microphone, and decided, fuck it, I'm gonna start a podcast. So I looked into all this equipment, and I'm gonna buy this Rode equipment, fucking $2,000 setup, blah blah blah. And my buddy said, calm the fuck down. There's an app on your phone that you could do this with. How about you just try it out in this Anchor app and see what's up? So I got my cell phone and I sat in my shed and I propped it up on my workbench. And it was just, you had to see me like nervous as fuck. Like what, I'm like hitting play and then stop and then hit erase. And then I'd start and then play stop. I'm like, motherfucker, you suck, you pussy. And I'm just motherfucking myself. And then I hit play and then the first show went off and then the second show went off. And then next thing you know, it's like 25 shows later, my neighbor, who we're cool, but we never like talked. Like we're just like, hung out every once in a while, but mostly cool. Then all of a sudden he was listening and then he joined the show. And then next thing you know, dude, it's 175 shows later. We started harnessing something with him, but Caldarise Unleashed was not the show we could do. Like we could take mainstream. It's raw and crude and fucking hysterical and awesome. It's coming back in a paid only form. But the Two Mics Live is the fun show. But no, that's how it went. It just grew from there. And, we learned a lot with that show, how to put together a show, just different topics and how to make songs. We made different songs. We had such a blast doing it, man. And it's, that show's really fun. But that was really the origin story. It was me just being pissed off with COVID.
Dude, that's actually the generation for a lot of great things in this world.
Yeah, no
That's
doubt.
it. The generation.
It was a catalyst.
Yeah, dude, it's a genesis of even the Bearded Viking Mead Company. I learned how to make hooch during that time. Like
He tried to
So
make us go blind.
yeah,
Think about it. When you punish your kids, right? One of the things I noticed with my son is when I took his phone away, all of a sudden his talents came out, right? So like he's a really good drawer, but he won't draw if he could just sit there and watch YouTube. But if he got in trouble and took his phone away, all of a sudden pictures start coming back out, right? You get real creative when you're put in a box and you can't do anything anymore. You can't live your life the way you think you're going to live. You start getting real creative and you say, fuck it, man. When you've reached fuck it, that's a whole different stage, right?
Dude, there was
So-
literally a conversation I remembered. So to add on to that, right? So I remember there was a conversation. So during COVID, I ran out of things to do. I love going camping and hunting and being out, right, in the woods. But like in Utah, like everybody fucking left, and so you would try to leave the city, and they were all there.
Yeah, they all bought campers and they all bought boats. And then it seemed like about 21, all of it got repossessed. So or they decided camping fucking sucks. But yeah, no, I'm there with you. It was like for something you've done a lifetime, and then all of a sudden there's no camp spots left.
Yeah. So I was like, what the fuck do I do? I'm pretty sure that Al thought that I lost my mind. I think the Jarl did think that I lost my mind because during that time frame, here's the things that I picked up as hobbies, right? Beekeeping,
Yeah.
falconry, and hooch making.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
like one day he like sends me a message. He's like, "Hey, I'm gonna fly my falcon." I was like, "What?" "Yeah, I'm gonna fly him over by your house. Do you want to come over and watch my falcon fly?"
So-
yeah, fuck it. I don't have anything else to do. I guess I'll come watch a bird fly. Let's go.
And
So wait a
it
second,
literally.
You could
Go ahead.
literally like, are you one of the guys that you could drive along the highway and just let your falcon go and like eat another bird? You ever see that guy do that shit?
Yeah, that's called car hawking. My falcons are a little bit more. So like that's like a city falconer.
Oh, that's a city falconer.
Yeah.
It's a
They
city
literally-
bird. Those goddamn city birds.
City
ruin it
birds
for
are
all them
fucking
country
dicks.
birds.
No,
I have
Al's
a
first
fucking name
experience.
for it. That's great.
Yeah, so Al's very first experience to watching it happen, like he brought his son, and he literally watched Ragnar, R.I.P., murder a pigeon
Raggy.
at like 75 miles an hour in the sky, like 17 feet from us.
That was insane. And you just hear a
That's
boom.
badass.
My little guy was like, "What was that?" I was like, "I think that bird just killed another bird." And he's like, "That's awesome."
Yeah. So that was a genesis for a lot of weird shit during that time. So,
Yeah, it,
all
it
right,
definitely spurred everything with me, bro.
yeah, I mean, this is a real thing. Like now, all of a sudden, you know, stand by for the best hats ever that say bathtub hooch. They're gonna come to you live, and we're gonna get a new blue shirt that just says hooch balls on it, because it's
It's
like
got
giving
it, yeah.
people. It's got to
Blue
be a blue
balls.
shirt, blue balls,
Yeah, it's got to
because
be.
we've
Dude, I'm
been giving
telling you,
people hooch balls forever.
when can I get any bottle? You gotta let me buy a bottle from you guys. If you have anything sitting around, you can send it to, you know, I don't know
I
if you
ain't,
can send it to Jersey. You gotta let me know if you can fucking send it to Jersey. If not, I'll drive across state or some shit. You can send it close, you know?
just get a PO box in New York. They let me ship there, but New Jersey wants us to register the labels, and it's $600 a label.
Are you serious?
Yeah, have you met your town?
No, I don't know why I asked like that. I don't
It's
even
the
know why the hell I
communist
was
states in
surprised.
Jersey.
Yes, you're right. Okay. Once again, the communist states of New Jersey doesn't even allow an American product to come in. It's
It's
ridiculous.
bad when New York's less fucking stringent than Jersey.
Yeah,
No,
when the
it's like
fuck does that happen though?
they have a
Ever.
competition. It's a pissing contest between these two states, bro.
Okay,
It was
fair.
once again during COVID, you could always tell it was like, ah, shit, New York's doing this, and then you watch Pennsylvania, Jersey do it, and then you go, ah, shit, Jersey's doing this. Fucking, it's like one up in each other. Oh, who could be more tyrannical? I always ask people this question: if you have a governor like Phil Murphy that we have, do you think he would have hesitated to turn everybody's car off if he had the ability to? So if we go all electric, and he has a button to say
It's
everyone
just
don't move because of
whoop,
this, do you
flips the
think he
switch.
would have hesitated? Or hey, only your cars turn off. I don't think these people would have hesitated. I think they would have went full tyrant, and we let them, and it's disgusting.
Mm,
So I wanted to talk about it. I wanted to fight back about it. That's
fair.
really where my show stemmed from. And I was really sick and tired of learning about lies, right? So I was awakened when I went to the January 6th event. I was there all day, right? And one of the things that I seen was they're lying to us on a massive, massive, massive scale. Okay, because I was there literally from 6:30 in the morning. I left because it was freezing fucking cold, right? It was freezing. And the thing that amuses me is they say that it was this big insurrection and shit, and it was so violent and stuff. Well, right in front of the Capitol, you could have got a hot dog and a funnel cake, right? Like there, I'm not fucking lying. Like the whole street lined towards the Capitol was lined with food trucks. It wasn't like an angry fucking. They think it was like a sprint, like I'm fucking the DC Capitol up. It was like a 2-mile walk. It was like a 45-minute walk full of this stuff. And I get there, and when I left, I was sitting in front when the if I don't know if you ever seen the video, but it happened right in front of me when the cops opened the gates and people walked in.
Was that when the cop OC'd all the other cops by putting the OC in the wrong way?
I
Have
don't
you not seen that video?
there's so many videos I've seen, but no, I don't know the one you're
Oh, it
talking
was
about.
so
No.
good. Like he put the OC grenade in the wrong way.
Oh,
Went to go thunk it
I
off, and
didn't
it
see
blew
that.
up all over them, and they decided they were gonna just like walk back inside and wash
You
their
know,
eyes out or something.
Let's tell you this part, and then we'll move. I'll go right into Mike. Like when I walked around the building, so I look at the girls. There was a lot of people standing around. People don't realize that it was like walk, stand, and I have an hour and a half worth of like interviewing people. But when we walked around to leave to get to our car, I turned on the radio. I turned on the car. The radio came on, and it was a radio station coming in. And all of a sudden, it was like mayhem, riots, gunshots outside of January 6th. And we changed the channel. It was again same reporting. And I'm like, wow, they're lying to everybody on such a major scale. And I actually sat back and said, what if everything they told me about like the Black Lives Matter riots? What if that was all kind of fabricated? And like I started questioning everything I seen on the news because of that event. And one of the things that like in my show that I don't tolerate is like Like, I want to be accurate. If I give you a thought, I want it to be super accurate. I don't want it to be a lie. I want it to be from a real place, right? People don't want to hear truth anymore. They want to be told like comfortable lies. And I came face to face with fucking lies, and the lies are all meant to make me look a certain way, like I'm some crazy insurrectionist, when I was just there, really I'm a Trump supporter, but I was there to take it all in and interview people for the show. So it came like to the point where it goes, we're being told lies, and I have to be the one that's telling the truth. I have to be, and I have to be the one that's trying to decipher the truth, because I say it all the time. Like, when you hear these people, they tell you a story. They tell you a story from one side or the other. Whether you listen to Fox News, CNN, or whatever, they're telling you a story instead of the story, right? And the story is in the middle of all their bullshit. I try to find that, and I try to present that in the way, with obviously my opinion behind it. But that's really the driving force and the origin of the show. I've always been someone that just wanted truth. Stop fucking lying to me. If you're lying to me, I think there's nefarious means about it. Just tell me the damn truth. If the truth is bad, tell me it. But what I've noticed is people would rather be told lies than the truth.
The interesting thing about that is, so I've been seeking truth for a long time, just even within myself. Like, I challenge myself. The Jarl challenges himself to just hold ourselves to this extreme accountability, which is a precursor to the pillars of being a man. And we battle as friends and as partners in business, like fucking battle. Like, if you
I was ready to go up to his house and throw bricks yesterday.
I was ready to be like, you can't get up here, because I can shoot your bougie ass truck from a mile away, so it's fine.
I was like, I've seen you shoot. You can't hit shit.
I'm sorry, you must have been recording yourself and watching that and pretending.
Dude, I'm dangerous, dude. I'll shoot it sideways.
The danger of being really good friends is exactly what pisses the other one off.
Yeah. No.
So when it comes down to it,
yeah.
Exactly.
Let me fucking push that button real goddamn hard.
Yeah, real hard.
Oh, yeah.
Anyway,
dude, I was like up, down, left, right.
Ding dong, ding dong, ding dong, ding dong, ding dong, ding dong. Yep, and then let's go in rage style. Then the fucking Hulk comes out and he turns a whole different, different shades of brown and shit. And
right. Yeah.
I know what you're doing.
Yeah, and I just go full on red.
I went full Aloha snack bar yesterday.
He did. So I had my moment of awakening, for just being like, nope, I can't fucking do this shit anymore. For me, it was when we left Afghanistan. What people don't know, because they only listen to the news, right, is they're like, oh yeah, we ended the war. Okay, well, we had two major air bases, Bagram and Jalalabad, in Afghanistan. And all we had to do was pull all of our stuff back to there and wait until the non-fighting season. So in Afghanistan, because they snow and they run around in man jammies all the fucking time, they run around with man jammies and coats, and sometimes they get like socks with their flip-flops.
Yeah, sometimes the toes get cold. You can only fight certain times out of the year.
Yeah. So like October 1st, they actually send up a ceasefire treaty. They don't shoot at you. They don't because it's too fucking cold. So all we had to do was maintain those two bases, pull everybody back, and wait until October 1st, and then we could have egressed out of Afghanistan with very, very minimal issues. But because we left the way we did, and Biden is the fucking savior of whatever the fuck he's a savior of, I'm not really quite sure. I guess fucking ice cream cones and stiffing kids. But
I got hairy legs.
Yeah.
Turn blonde. Hairy legs.
So he literally
like swimming pool.
Yeah, he literally crossed this fucking bridge with me, and I'm like, bro, what the fuck? And like for the most part, I haven't voted because they didn't count my fucking vote of when I was overseas in Iraq. They were like, hey, we're not counting votes for the president because you didn't turn your shit in. Like, we literally left the fucking front line to come back and vote. And I want to say it was the Kerry Bush era. I think when there was that whole like Florida flip state bullshit, whatever it was. Anyway,
the old hanging Chad.
Yeah, whatever it was. Yeah. So they were like, "Oh no, sorry, your vote didn't count. You didn't get it in on time." I'm like, "Well, why now I got to go fucking refight and retake this fucking this building that I took. It took us like 10 hours to fucking get into, and now these dicks are back in there."
I mean, and I'm like, you knew the layout though, right? So
yeah,
it's like redoing a map like in like Call of Duty or like Halo or something. You already knew the.
We just called it JDM and said fuck it. I'm like, perfect.
You
Shouldn't
just
say that out
like,
loud.
You're like, hey, did you guys vote today? No, no, your vote didn't count too. You should just hit it.
So I hadn't voted. I hadn't voted my entire adult life because that was my first chance to actually vote for a president. And since then I haven't voted because I was like, my fucking vote didn't count overseas. Why the fuck would it count in America?
Oh, it's because there's like, what is it, 2,000 mules going and dropping off ballots and shit like that.
Oh yeah.
I'm gonna be honest with you guys. I do a political show. You know this, right? So you saying this shit to me has got the hairs at the back of my neck wanting to stand up. I want to start questioning you about it, and I'm resisting every urge in my being to do that.
Let's get into the pillars of man.
You were coming on the show to be talking about that. That's for damn sure.
Let's talk about.
You wanted to do paranormal. What was the paranormal shit? You had me peaked with this paranormal stuff.
All right, so if you've listened to the cast at all, any of our listeners who are now just joining for whatever reason, episode 45, go back and listen to the beginning, all the other ones. Like you got to listen to our origin story, right? We mix in paranormal with men's mental health because it's the act of hanging out. Because dudes don't ever talk about bitches or anything like that when they hang out. We talk about cars, we talk about fucking paranormal shit, we talk about conspiracies. You know, we don't give a fuck at all about any of that other stuff. So both of us, Alex and I, the Jarl and Vico, if you want to, whatever you want to call us, we have a favorite paranormal thing to talk about. And mine's evolved recently over some shit. And then we also have the thing that is the dumbest fucking paranormal thing to us. It's the dumbest. It's the least favorite to talk about. So I'll give you an example, right? So for me, I love talking about Bigfoot. And now I am more interested in talking about giants because giants are actually being filmed more often. It's a really weird fucking thing. So I think they go hand in hand. There's a dog dick versus not dog dick conspiracy theory about.
It's a totally different conspiracy theory.
Well, it's a different theory, but you know, with Bigfoot, that's we get wrapped around that axle a little bit too much in our conversations. So that's my favorite. Now, my least thing, the thing that makes me laugh when everybody's like, "Oh, this is terrifying" or whatever, is a fucking chupacabra, dude. Like literally. Just shoot the fucking shoot it. Just shoot it. It's like, come on, there's way better fucking things. Like, I'm more afraid of a leprechaun just based off the Leprechaun series than I am of a fucking chupacabra. Like, what's it gonna do? You gonna come over here and fucking bite my ankle? Fuck you, dude. So, Al, so Yar, what's yours? Give him the rundown of yours.
Are we going backwards tonight? Are we gonna
I want a reminder.
Oh, reminder.
I want a reminder for what your favorite and least favorite is.
My favorite is definitely by far aliens because there's way too many aliens out there, way too many different types, and so many different people have said that they've seen different types. We got remote viewing now, and they've talked about a whole bunch of different types and life on Mars, civilization, stuff like that. So by far, aliens is my favorite. I think that leprechauns are the most laughable because I'm just like, bang, you're dead, kind of like a chupacabra, or I go full on like, hunter status and just kick it.
Yeah,
just the wee little man.
So transition over to you, Mike. What is your favorite? What is the thing that you love talk about in a paranormal realm?
It's tough because like, when you talk to paranormal stuff, I like the historical paranormal stuff, like what the video that you guys showed me. So the remote viewing type stuff, those type of capabilities like blow my mind. Aliens are interesting, right? Because like it's fascinating. I think it's pretty ignorant to think we're the only life form on this earth, right? But it's one of my least favorites because it's so overused and abused and terribly done. It's like funny. It's like you saw that one. Did you see the latest one that came out of Mexico? Right. It was like an alien that came out of Mexico, but it just happened to be like standing naked, getting photographed on a picture, like by a fence. It's like, hold on, you're telling me this thing flew light years over here, and is naked, fucking crawling around Earth? Doesn't make any fucking sense to me. It's like. The ignorance behind the alien stuff, it makes it one of my least favorites because it's so oversaturated. But I love the I love the ancient time stuff. The myth. It's I don't know if it's mythical, but it's like the giants thing, like you said. Those things fascinate me. The fact that I think that there was a, the human race or whatever you want to call us was way more diversified at one point, right?
Mhm.
And then we bottlenecked, and then we grew out, and then bottlenecked at different points. It's almost like it's like they could track it now, So like that type of stuff, like philosophizing on like that. That's the stuff that I like. It's kind of I'm a more tangible type person.
Yeah.
That's type of stuff we can almost have something and try to figure it out instead of like I have no idea what I'm talking about yet. I'm gonna just guess.
Yeah. So let me throw something out for you to look up, and this will literally blow your mind. Go look up the Lovelock Cave in Nevada.
The Lovelock Cave.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Just go. Just do that because
Yeah.
you like that old shit. So I think the old magic or the old paranormal shit is the creepiest shit.
I don't even think it's
out there.
paranormal. I don't even think it's paranormal though. I think it's
Is it
just,
just
I think it's
history?
just I think it's just history, or it's like the conspiracy now. I think it's just
Yeah.
stuff that they've erased. So I've taken that totally out of my like paranormal realm because it's so much of it's way too true, right? And there's so much evidence and stuff that backs it up. And
what do you
Ghosts,
think?
Ghosts also fascinate me. Ghosts fascinate me.
Yeah, dude. That
Yeah.
you've heard
Just
the story
because I
about the
had
little girl that lives here, right?
Yeah, I heard exactly. I heard that story. That type of stuff definitely fascinates me. I've had some like just different occurrences, like just in my life where I thought I had run-ins with them. So I went to Mount St. Mary's College and Seminary, right where the Civil War was fought. They were, that's where priests learn to be priests, and some weird shit happened in our room. You ever been like right about to be asleep, but you're not asleep, and it's like during the day, and when like a shadow comes over the top of you, and you have your eyes closed, you can see that there's a shadow there.
it just gets a little
Yeah.
darker. Yeah.
It gets darker, and then all of a sudden something put its finger right on my chest, right here, and I felt it. And I opened up my eyes, and it still had its finger on my chest, and there was nothing there. And then it came off slowly. And no bullshit, I came running out of my room. I'm looking around. There was nobody there. There was people down the street, they're like down the hall playing video games. But I'm fast, man. You were touching me. You're not getting, you're not getting away from me. So it's weird shit. And then the next year, like this is no bullshit. My buddy could like he will tell you the same story. The next year, dude, he was on the top bunk. I was on the bottom bunk. In college, I used to pull the fire alarm all the time. I was on the bottom bunk, and I went to like our rooms were real long. They were skinny and long. I get to the other end of the room. I turn the light on. Now my buddy is sleeping with his arm like this, hanging off the bed. And as I turn around, I heard it and I watched it. It was like this, a smack, and his arm goes flying up like that. And he looks at me, he goes, "What the fuck, bro?" I'm like, "Brady, I'm all the way to fuck over here, man." And he's like, "Oh my God, the ghost!" And he just put his blanket over his head, because that's gonna protect you from everything.
Yeah, that saves it.
So I watched his arm legit get smacked by something, and it wasn't him. I seen it. It was some weird shit. So ghosts definitely fascinate me. If I had to pick my biggest one, because it talks to like the afterlife. It's so fascinating. Like, is there an afterlife, or is it just somebody looking at us in a fourth or fifth dimension that we can't see, but they can see us, right? So
And
it's like
they're super bored. And they're just fucking with us.
And they're fucking with us. Who knows, right?
I think that's really what it is most of the time.
Dude, it could be.
You never know. So that's paranormal. That's the stuff that gets me.
So what is the thing that's the funniest, the dumbest? Is it the aliens is the dumbest? What is the dumbest one to you?
No, let's see. I don't know. This is something I honestly have never thought about, so I love it.
The hard one.
I think there's a lot of dumb ones, right?
Yeah, dude.
It's tough. Yeah,
I'll run through
it. I don't want there to have any.
I'll let you chew
Start
on it for a
talking,
second.
I'll think. Yeah,
I'll let you chew on it. So we, in our experience, we've had this. We've asked, current members of the company and people that are come on the cast and shit that these things, right? And a lot of people are like, "Oh, fairies are fucking dumb," and I'm like, "Bitch, I don't want to be caught by a fairy, bro. Like, you ain't coming back from wherever that fucking realm is." And that's not a thing that I'm in. Like, I think cryptids are fucking just in general, like fucking funny. I'm like, have you you see the videos, right? Just in general, you see the videos minus like a Bigfoot or something that could rip your arms off. But you're like, like a 45 could stop that.
I
Like,
know, but like Bigfoot doesn't wear pants though either. Like Mike was talking about, like this alien that's out there not wearing pants. I mean,
naked and stuff like that.
Bigfoot's just out there. And I think recently we've just confirmed that Bigfoot has a dog dick, not a human dick. And he's just out there, dude. No pants, no nothing.
that was, to be fair, that was Chewbacca. It wasn't the same. But
Dude, it's the same.
idea
It's the
was
same.
the same.
Bigfoot is Chewbacca. He's marooned on Earth.
But you're not like so Bigfoot being 8 foot to 12 foot tall and being able to transition that ground fast, like, and being around grizzlies and seeing bears and shit, like that shit's intimidating as fuck. It's definitely scary, but it's not like something you could just be like, okay, we're not doing that. Like the Mothman, like the story of the Mothman to me, I'm like, so some fucking thing with glowy red eyes fucking showed up and he fucking looks like a moth. Did you get a fucking fly swatter? Did you try there?
Did you like your windshield wipers?
Yeah, just get them off. Like, you know what I'm saying? Right? Like, I don't, to me, I think there's this mentality in the human brain that's like, okay, I got to be afraid of something. And this is the thing that I'm going to be afraid of. Like, for the Jarl is terrified of spiders. He fucking hates it. He hates
spiders.
I'm afraid of spiders, coach.
Fuck spiders, dude.
If I had to answer your question now that I've had a second to think about it, I can't pinpoint like one thing that's funny to me. But the thing that keeps popping in my head is people's reaction to it. How they respond to all this stuff, how they believe in all this stuff. All of it's kind of funny. The people that think they could go there and somehow communicate with ghosts and they really believe it, or the mediums. Sometimes you have a medium. Do you believe them? Are they really communicating with ghosts, or are they just some, fortune teller? They have a lot of, everyone could go both ways and have fun with it. And everything that's taken to the extremes, I think that's the thing that's the funniest for me. How people believe things just in general, and the process that they go through is very amusing, no matter what it is. Everything's funny. I try to find all of it's funny in some way. When it's taken to the extreme, like leprechauns are fucking hysterical. Like I said, running away, running up the steps and falling down away from a leprechaun.
I'm the leprechaun. Yeah. All right. Cool. Let's jump into some men's mental health. For all of our listeners who've been part of the adventure, the journey, we've talked about men's mental health every episode, and except for like one or two. And it was interesting during those episodes. You guys all reached out to us and said, hey, man, where the fuck's our men's mental health? This is my therapy session for the week. And that means a lot to us because it's also our therapy session, right? So I want to revisit something which is actually, I think, the core of, other than don't kill yourself, the core of really the men's mental health. And we stumbled across this, the Jarl and myself, while we were completely shit-faced. And we had to go back and rewatch it, but it was fucking the most wise words.
It made sense.
And now we because we just live it. It's not like we talk about this all the time. Like we talk about shit that we do, and like if you relate to us, rad. And if you don't, well, I'm probably not our audience. Good luck. I hope you like the paranormal portion.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Like
it's mainly us just trying to put words on our thoughts and how we're living, right?
Yeah,
and sometimes it works out.
Shit, yeah.
It actually, it works out. It pans out.
I think I can help with the
45 episodes
situation.
in, right? You're 45 episodes in, so you guys are doing great, man.
Yeah,
as far as I'm concerned. Yeah, dude.
I'm dreaming, bro.
Going live 3 days a week is a lot, bro. That is a lot. But I love it. It's talking to me, I look at it like I could talk for days, man. And men's mental health is, is there anything more important? I'm being very serious. Is there anything more important to our society as having mentally healthy men?
No, I don't think so. And that's the big thing is like, so there's all these people out there, and maybe it's catching, I don't know, the algorithms from all the socials, you like one thing and now all of a sudden you see a bunch of the same thing. But honestly, I think overall in the society, and it's just lost. Like men's mental health is like the men's mental health month is also fucking shadowed by Pride Week. Like, can you
and like
off?
in the past too, we've talked about how maybe
by design.
Yeah. we've talked about how maybe it's collective consciousness, you know. Dudes are kind of hitting that same thing when they hit a certain age, but now people are ready to talk about it because there's outlets and everything like that, and it's a little bit more socially acceptable to talk about it with your dudes, whereas before it was just kind of like suck it up, keep doing what you're doing, and nobody wants to fucking hear what you have to say.
Yeah, I'm not gonna
And
fucking coddle you. We're not coddling anybody.
no,
I'm not that
no, not
fucking
at all.
guy.
I just mean actually being able to be like, hey, dude, I'm a little fucked up. Like, can you go down to the bar with me and get a beer? Or
Mhm.
can we jump on FaceTime or something like that and bullshit for a little bit just to make sure that somebody doesn't, catch a bullet later or
Yeah.
decide that they're going to do something drastic that, you can't take that shit back.
So we gave you a little. Go ahead.
Yarrow,
Go ahead.
it's really interesting you say that, because it's like, isn't it interesting? I think it's an irrational fear of coming to terms with yourself and and like having a conversation with men, right? So like it's almost a weird thing where they're less afraid of the gun and the bullet than they are of the conversation. And
Exactly.
we almost have to make people realize that if you just have that conversation, the gun and the bullet's not necessary. It's, I don't know why the fear of coming to grips with whatever's going on is so strong. You guys understand that more. I'm a lucky guy. I'm going to be very honest with you. I've never been to war. I haven't seen what you guys do. So it fascinates me. I know dudes that haven't gone to war though, that can't get to grips with that as well.
I think a big part of it too is finding your tribe, right? Finding your guys, finding your group. And, I think if you're not comfortable like reaching out to your buddy and saying, hey, like I'm having a hard time, can you show up for me? That's maybe you're not in the right group if you can't reach out to somebody and
Yeah.
in your tribe of folks and tell them, yeah, hey, I'm having a hard time.
We actually built a culture around it inside of our organization, and it started with the podcast. Before we've all known each other for not long enough that we'd fuck around, right? And we'd show up for each other, but it's spreading, and it's cool to see because we have people who will reach out to us and be like, "Hey, man, I need a beer," and you're like, "Cool, all right. Well, I'm not in Utah. Well, cool. Let me just call and talk to you. Well, I'm having a problem with this, or like, I ran into some problems with in my personal life with my daughter and stuff, and it was pretty brutal for me. And I was just like, hey, I need to talk, guys. And we just fucking hopped on a Teams call, and we just started talking. And it obviously there's work to do beyond the conversation with you and whatever the situation is, but the reinforcement of having men behind you that may not understand the situation because they're not there, but they know that you are living the life the best you can and giving you outsider perspective of like, slow down, calm down. I know it feels like everything's on fire right now, but we got you, bro. Like, you're not
Yeah.
doing anything detrimental, right?
Well, sometimes you need that outside perspective to help, realize that maybe this isn't that bad. Maybe this is something that we can just put some steps to and we can figure this out, whether it be by yourself or together. And I think that a lot of people kind of miss that, hey, this shit is not just this situation, no matter how bad, you can still figure this out. Like it's not worth catching a bullet or anything like that. It's just reach out, talk to the guys in your tribe, talk to the people that are, part of your close group. And a lot of times, I mean, it's you come out feeling a lot better and it's a lot simpler than maybe you thought it did when you're just self-reflecting and thinking
Yeah.
about it.
Oh yeah, and you think about it, it's like you said, you have to find that tribe, right? So, like I play in a cornhole league on Thursday nights, and cornhole is one of the best to me. If you have a cornhole league near you, go there, because it's a bunch of dudes, a lot of them ex-military. It's a backyard party basically with a little bit of competition, actually a lot of bit of competition, but it's the team concept, right? I also play baseball. One of the reasons why I play wood bat baseball until the age of 44, until I tore my hammy this year, right, is because of sitting in that dugout with those guys. There's just being around dudes, breaking balls, having a good time, being part of the team, trying to win a game, trying to work together with men. It's there's something in us naturally that makes us feel good when we're doing these types of things, right? And what happens, I think, a lot of the times is we have a lot of guys that don't know how to do that for themselves. Maybe they're stuck with a wife that won't let them play in a cornhole league, and they just say don't, and they won't put their foot down and just do what makes them happy.
Yeah.
They feel like they're stuck in something, and they can't get the team concept. Where if they just had those guys in their lives, it would help every part of their marriage, their life, everything.
Would you say, like, and I'm a baseball nut too. You did something that I couldn't do. But would you say that, life is just kind of like one big game? We're all trying to play it. We're all just kind of sitting in the dugout with our buddies trying to figure it all out. And then, at least for that male perspective, and we're just trying to figure out how to win the game. We're trying how to go out there and just leave it all out on the field and not ultimately fuck this up.
I want to do something real quick. I want
better
to
as a
make sure.
team.
Yeah, I want to make sure that Al, from now on, puts the CBD things in because he's all of a sudden wise, and this is a fucking moment. Write this down.
I didn't even put it in yet. I didn't even put it in yet.
I don't even have it. You just touched it. Now it's like an osmosis into your fucking skin.
Right, exactly. It's in the tips.
If more guys took CBD and weed and got together with their boys, they'd be a hell of a lot happier. Guys don't get that. Like men need this in their lives. They need that type of competition. They need to have a self-worth. There's a lot to keep a man really mentally healthy. It doesn't take a lot, but it takes the right things. And unfortunately, in today's world, we're denying men of the right things that are going to keep them mentally healthy, right? And there's a lot of societal issues. It starts with the fact that we're not teaching men to be men, right? We're really teaching our boys to act like women. We were talking about this on the show today. We're teaching our boys to act like women, and we're teaching our women to act like men. If you ever notice, all this stuff is to get girls to act like boys and boys to be more sensitive and more on their feminine side and blah blah blah. And then what has happened? We've taken a group of people who at the same time told them to act like the opposite sex. We still told them to want the traditional version of the opposite sex. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah,
so we stopped creating the traditional man. We started creating this emotional boy. And emotional boys are dangerous, right? So we're having a very weird dichotomy, and it's very tough because now we don't even have women that are there to support the men mentally.
Right.
So we're in a really weird situation where we've put men in a really shit situation in society, right?
Well, we've put
everything,
women,
one thing after the other.
We've put women in a really shit situation in society too, because now you have a bunch of women that are out there trying to find this masculine man and get some of that testosterone around him where, he's chopping wood or, out there doing man shit. Yeah. Shooting shit, playing baseball, doing whatever.
Cars.
Yeah. Crashing into shit. And they don't have it. They can't find it because I dare say most of the, masculine men they're snatched up right now in that age group.
We haven't produced them.
Yeah.
Well,
and that's produced any of them.
And that's actually a great segue, by the way, on this. So I'm gonna add on to this, but this actually is the reason why we actually came up with the 5 pillars of being a man, because it's missing in the world. And my middle daughter, she's 21. She turned 21 yesterday. So it was pretty awesome. But she was living in New Mexico, and all these fucking fuckboys were like, all these guys are dressing up, these men, these biological males are dressing up as females and fucking playing. I don't have a problem with D&D. I got a lot of great people in my life that play D&D, but like, like don't ask me to come play that thing because I've already been to war. I don't actually give a fuck about imaginary war, right? But they're doing this thing, but they forget that they actually have to go outside and see the world. They forget that you actually have to be a man. So you literally
don't call it a man though.
No,
don't call it a man. If you want to do all that shit, you want to do twinkle shit or whatever it is, that's cool. Don't change the definition of what a man is. That's what they're trying to do. They're trying to say, no, you could do a lot of things and still be a man. Like, and I'm not talking about gay or anything like that, because I'm not saying like a gay man is not a man. I totally disagree with that.
Me too.
It's just a matter of like, there is a definition of manhood, and we're diminishing it. And we're
100%.
trying to add in a lot of things that really, it's little boy shit that we're calling man stuff.
It's
right. And
coddling.
until we start dealing with the little boy stuff and making little boys men, we're going to continue having some of the issues that we have, and they are going to have the issues that they have.
Yeah, just because you've reached the age of 18 doesn't mean that you're a man.
No,
Especially
No.
now. Especially now.
I would even say, even when I was younger, I'm 42 this year, right? So it's not like I'm far off of Mike, here with the same fucking era growing up, basically, right? Latchkey kids 100%. And fucking like, my dad was a firefighter, so he was only home every he would go to work to the fire station for 24 hours. My mom was raising us, but we were running the streets, dude. Like, we learned the actual initial fuck around, find out fucking moment when somebody would talk shit to you and we talked about this texting earlier today.
Yeah, we talked about bullying. Yeah,
bullying, right? Well, you could either be bullied or you could punch a bully in the motherfucking mouth. And sometimes it took you years to get that courage up, but you became a man doing that. You fucking earned your stripes by having the boys, like, like, we didn't have fucking cell phones when we were kids, man. We rode our bikes around the neighborhood looking for where all the fucking bikes are.
Come home when the street lights get on.
Yeah, get home you look, that's where people were, right? And if you know people's bikes and you're like, I'm not fucking going there because that guy's a fucking dickbag,
Yeah, I was like,
but what are we creating? What are we creating, JT, right? We're not teaching these kids how to overcome a bully. Bullies are essential. Like, I don't care what people think of me when I say that. Like, it's the truth. Bullies are essential to proper human behavior, because if you can't overcome a bully when you're young, you're never going to overcome the bullying when you get old. And it's like this. Everyone thinks like, does bullying stop when you get out of school? No. Right? What happens? I don't think Kelly said it the other day on the show, 2 Mics Live, that she can't believe, thank you, bro. She can't believe that she's being called so many names as an adult. She's like, I feel like I'm being called more names as an adult in the political world than I was as a kid. Right? You're going to be bullied by your boss. You're going to be bullied by the media. You're going to be bullied by so many different groups of people that if you cannot learn how to get over it and get past it and get through it and learn how to deal with it, what are you going to be? You're going to be someone that makes excuses for their life and wants to. You're going to demand that everybody changes for you, and that you're not going to learn to adjust and demand things out of the world. It's a weird place that we were in.
It makes perfect sense that they're calling her more names now and bullying her more now than she was when she was a kid, because it's over a keyboard. Nobody has to show up. Nobody has to show up at the flagpole after school and deal with it. Nobody has to say anything face to face. So when people don't have to say anything face to face, there's no chance of catching any hands. And when people are out in public and people start acting wrong, and there's a chance of catching some hands, that's it. They're backing out. Okay, bro, I'm sorry. I didn't mean it. Holy shit. Like, are you going to drop a backpack? You kind of look like a Haji. It's summer. It gets a little bit more scary when you're talking shit to somebody to their face.
Well, you're leading into what I was going to say, that I had a pillar to add on to your 6, and I don't want to add on my first show or none of that stuff.
No, you're more than welcome to. It's really good insight. So people forget that life doesn't fucking care about you. Your opinion really doesn't fucking matter. It only matters. Your opinion doesn't matter. Your actions do, because your actions will echo through eternity, and people fucking forget that. Like, they really do. I have people that I did wrong when I was in my 20s that still only remember me for that. And I'll never be able to overcome that because I was a fucking asshole. And that's okay, because I learned and I failed to get to where I'm at. But life doesn't fucking care. Like, there is nothing given in this world.
Yeah. You're not just going to get a bone thrown at you every once in a while.
Yeah.
Yeah. You literally have to have your opinion. You have to make your opinion known and stand up for yourself, stand up for what you believe in. Yeah. And you better have a damn good argument for what you're going after too. And if it's over a keyboard, fuck you, dude. You know what I mean?
100%. Yeah.
It's what I was going to say before. It's far too many people give a shit about what other people think. And the cyberbullying something where, we live in this world where now everything's vanity and everyone gives a shit about other people's likes. Right? You want to get likes, you want to get likes, you want to get likes, and you forget that those people really, like, your opinion of me does not matter. My opinion of myself matters, right? I'm not trying to please you. I'm trying to please myself. Too many people get caught up in that. And that's one of the reasons why people are fucked up. I don't give a shit what you say on social media to me. It makes no difference. It makes none. But now we have kids that can't get away from it. You used to be able to get away from the bullying. Now it follows you at home. Now, if you were getting bullied in school, you get bullied at home on social media. You have people saying things to you on social media. We're not teaching kids enough to not give a shit about what other people think of them,
Right,
especially
exactly.
men.
Definitely lost. Yeah,
Well,
self-worth is definitely lost.
Well, the self-importance though is through the roof because everybody thinks that they're so goddamn important.
Yeah, it's weird.
And you should.
It's a weird dichotomy. Yeah.
Right. In your own mind, you should think you're the most important person on the planet because you fucking are. You are the only thing that really truly matters. People don't get that. Like everyone wants to be so worried about everybody else. The only thing you could really control is yourself.
Oh, I mean the self-importance of that social media and those likes and thinking that people give a shit about what you have to say. Right?
Yeah.
I think more or less like we do this not for the likes and for the self-importance. We do this because we want to get our message out there. And if you agree with it, that's cool. Like, share, subscribe, that whole deal. That's awesome. And, make a tribe, create your own tribe, be part of our tribe. But we don't give a shit about the likes and the self-importance part, that type of self-importance. But yeah, I totally agree with you. You're number one. Take care of number one. And that's really the
rest falls into place.
Yeah,
the
absolutely.
rest falls into place. If you're not happy, how are you going to make anybody else happy? You can't. Yeah. It's impossible.
So let's get into this. So I'm gonna just do a recap of the 5 pillars.
Yep.
Okay. Because a lot of people forgot them. So the number one pillar is work harder than life. Number 2 is be a protector of yourself, your family, and your community. In that order, right? Number 3 is love the people that are part of your life. Tell them that you love them. Make sure that you say it because it might be the last time you'll ever get to say it. Say it often and say it with your heart. Don't say you love somebody if you don't love them. Number 4 is communication. Communication is something that we all suck at. It's fucking terrible. We try our best, but constantly, I mean, even women can't communicate to other women, and that's a realm I'm not even touching.
I don't even want to fly down that fucking path.
No, that's a dark path. And then the final one is extreme ownership, which is a little bit stolen from Jocko Willink, but we have a different spin on it. Because he says own your failures only, but we say own your wins too. And Al actually has a hard time owning his wins in front of other people. Man. Yeah, but he has. We talked about it in the last podcast. He keeps it very, very close to his chest. I'm like, fuck you guys, I win. Like, I don't care. Like, that's just who I am now, right? But own your wins however you own them. But make sure you share it, that you own it, right? So let's.
Wasn't it important? Right? Isn't that important? Like, so to me, far too many people don't celebrate their wins to themselves. Right. And if you don't celebrate some of the small dubs that you have, right? It's like we just reached 1,000 subscriptions.
Oh, you guys made it. You guys got it.
We made it, bro. We just
hit
it.
Yeah.
But it's, if I wasn't celebrating, 225, 1,000 may not happen, right? If I'm pissed off that we're not at 1,000 or not at, at 225, I might lose interest and not even do the show anymore, right? So you have to celebrate those little wins. You have to have ownership of what you do. I love that part. Extreme ownership was one of my favorite that I read because we have one life, man. And once again, the only thing you and me control is us.
Yep, 100%.
That's it.
Well, and taking ownership.
That's all we got. It's all we got. So you have to take ownership of your life. If not, you're not going to expect anything out of your life. I love what Kobe says. He has no patience for people that don't expect excellence out of themselves.
Yeah.
Right? I expect excellence out of myself no matter what I'm doing.
Well, and ownership too. That's a double-edged sword too. You fuck up, you better be taking ownership of it. And very rarely when you take ownership of doing something, not even intentionally, but messing something up, right? We mess shit up. That's what we do. And we learn from it. But if you're not taking ownership from it, you're having a problem. But very rarely when you take ownership, very rarely when you take ownership of something, is there a terrible outcome.
There's a whole lot of humble pie, though.
That shit's my bad.
Yeah.
Like, that's on me. I figured out what I did wrong. I'm going to do better next time.
There's a lot of humble pie with
game.
That.
Yeah, a lot. I'm in the construction game, right? So you have two different schools of thought. It relates to life. Let's just say I'm doing a project. I mess a cut up. A hack would say, yeah, that's good enough. The trim will cover it or whatever, blah, blah, blah. A carpenter is going to do something right, or someone that's going to figure out, oh, I cut this too short. I'm going to put it together, right? You're going to get the different material. You're going to spend the money to learn the lesson. That way you don't do it wrong, right? The person that just says, oh yeah, that'll do. They just hack their way through their job, and they're just hacking their way through their lives.
Oh, I know.
It's the same concept.
That whole thing with the building of the meadery.
What? Contractors?
Fucking
what?
Hacks?
Man.
I had to learn how to do the things myself and then bring people in and do that shit. I mean,
but that brings up work though.
Yeah.
Work harder than everybody else. Work harder than the other people around you. Work hard in life. You fuck up, you're taking ownership, and you're working even harder because you got to fix it.
Dude, I don't know if it was Kobe or if it was MJ or if it was like maybe even Jerry Rice, but somebody like a great athlete, like a historically goat, like one of the goats, right? Said, hard work will always outperform talent alone.
It always does, right? It 100% always does. Like
it's a quote that lives in my brain and in my soul. I don't mean to cut you off here, but I want to expand. I want to expand on it a little bit here. So I'm not a smart man, Jen A, right? Right? But I
not know what love is.
But I know what love is, Jen A. But like for me, every part of my life has been hard work, right? And I grew up in a middle class family, and my dad worked 4 jobs as a firefighter to make sure that I had the latest Nintendo, and I had all these things. And he did these things for me, but he taught me how to work hard, right?
I'm listening. I'm sorry, JT. I'm not laughing at you.
No, it's still good.
I'm listening. I saw the microphone.
Cheers. You got to clink before you drink, bro. Anyway,
it's been a good microphone for me, bro. This is a great mic. I love it.
So.
It's the mic you got to get right here, by the way. The Shure MB7, bro.
That's MIC, not MIKE.
Yeah.
A mic on the mic. Sorry. Go ahead. I'm sorry, bro.
You're good, dude. You don't even worry. So for me,
is your dad working for you? Yeah.
Yeah. So when I left the nest, as a dad in high school, senior in high school as a dad. So I have a 23-year-old who's married, and I'm probably going to be the coolest grandpa you'll ever have at the age of 43. Right? I own an alcohol company, man. And hopefully a G6 one day. Like,
dude, G6 for sure.
Yeah. But like, it was interesting because that was a moment when I was no longer coddled, right? My dad didn't coddle me. He gave me the things because he didn't have them, right?
Yeah.
So I had to go to, so I learned how to work hard. Sorry. Because I had to work a full-time job and go to high school full-time to pay for a child and stay up with my child at 3:00 in the morning when her mom was exhausted from dealing with the baby all the time. Now, I don't say a lot of nice things about that woman because she's not a nice woman, but she did her part raising great kids. And, it's interesting because that's where the development of this work harder than life came in. From there, I graduated, and I was working at Firestone during the tire recall. And if you've never busted a tire in your life. I have busted more fucking Firestone tires on 1-ton trucks than I can ever imagine for $8.50 an hour. And then from there, I left immediately from there, went home. I was living in an apartment up in Midvale, Utah. And I went to Hollywood Video and worked till 2 o'clock in the morning after that. And got up and did the same shit again because I couldn't afford the apartment and I wasn't about to live with my wife's parents at the time.
You said something that made me think, about something else we've talked about in the past. And it could be, we talked about it a little bit before about, these kids these days. And we're kind of in a spot now where, and at least I know I am, I know you are, Mike, I'll have to ask you about this, right?
Mhm.
And we'll get back to the pillars in just a second, but now I'm trying to buy all the things that I never got to experience as a kid. And I do that for me because I want to have fun, but they get to experience it too, right? So they get to have all this fun shit that I never got as a kid. Because, I might get a new Nintendo or something every once in a while, but it wasn't like, when they were coming out or anything like that, right?
Mhm.
So do you think the impact of kind of where we are now, or people that kind of come from the same place that we did, where you didn't have all this stuff and now they have all this stuff, do you think that's impacting the way these kids are growing up now? Because
I think it's
you got the
impacting society.
technology, all this stuff. I mean, even something stupid like going camping in a camper and shit like that. You know what I mean? Do you think that has an impact?
I do.
I think all of it has an impact. So, like, like take the kid example. When you give your kid everything, are they better off for it, or are they better off growing up without? Right. So it's an interesting story right next door to me right here. So the mom who lived next door to me came from Nicaragua or somewhere like that. Literally ran across the border, did everything kind of wrong, but like her story coming across the border is like sex trafficked across the border like craziness, right? She grew up in a situation where there were dirt floors, that she had to work before she could even get breakfast, and fought and clawed her way for a better life, right? And then I was drinking with her the day she became a official United States citizen. It took her
That's
10
badass.
years to do it, right? Badass. Just badass. But her kids love them. I watched them grow up, are spoiled brats.
Mhm.
They grew up with all the things that she never even dreamed she'd have, right? She's sitting in the backyard, me and Mike. She's like, Mike, I'm sitting on my back deck. We didn't have this, all these lights, and me and you. She goes, the bottle of alcohol you just gave me, the president of our country would have a hard time getting. Like, do you understand how I'm living now? She was saying, I'm trying to like do her like little
Yeah,
accent, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
It's like, you know
No,
how
it's
I
real.
live now. It's crazy. I live better than the president of Nicaragua. And she's just saying all this shit. And it's coming home for me that
It's
like,
impactful.
yeah, it's impactful. And now she gave her kids everything she never had. She fought. She was like hiding in bushes for a couple of days, running across the border, hiding from border control and all this stuff, and then creating this life for these kids who don't appreciate it.
Yeah,
They
no,
don't
it's hard.
appreciate her story. They can't even rationalize the story of it yet. You know what I'm saying? So are you doing them better by spoiling them and giving them all the things that you never had? Because the things you never had made you who you are.
Well, and I heard a
And
quote.
maybe you're not making them better off by giving them everything. It's just food for thought. You know, I'm not saying what
Well,
you're doing is wrong, because I did the same exact thing.
well, and
Right.
I heard
So
a
I'm just
quote.
saying, is it good or bad?
I heard a quote probably way too late, right? That was, it's not the things you give them, it's the experiences and the knowledge that you give them. I'm paraphrasing.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, holy shit, that kind of like took the wind out of me. And I thought about just selling everything and moving to the trailer park.
Dude,
You know what I mean? Like,
I don't go that extreme.
Yeah.
I'm just saying like that it really like it took the wind completely out of me. And I'm like, oh man, am I fucking this all up? Like, am I raising assholes?
Here, let me tell you from my perspective as a
You
dad
never
who did.
tell, bro.
Yeah,
It's too
let
early
me-
to tell.
well, let me tell
Sorry, go
you.
ahead.
Let me tell you from my perspective as a dad who couldn't afford anything because he was straddled with like crippling child support and alimony. and was working 4 jobs just to pay his own bills, let alone that shit, right? And my dad told me this way too late in my life. Like I was like 29 when he told me this. And I think it's something that you get with age, but kids don't remember the present. They don't fucking care about a present. They don't care about that. They remember the experience. And you have 18 summers to make an impact on them so they can be prepared for society.
I have 8 more summers with one. You know what I mean? And 10 more with another.
My youngest is I only have this summer and next, and then she's gonna do whatever the fuck she's gonna do. And so like that's a hard thing. So like
those are things that need to be told to you right up front.
Dude, there should be a fucking book like, hey, dude, take the kids camping, take them fishing, like play the sports games. No matter what, work isn't going to be more important than whatever dance recital you have to go to, right? Or whatever ball game you need to.
Well,
like, don't miss that shit.
That's what we're building a company culture about, right? Is kind of that family first thing. Is if you know, don't miss that game, don't miss those things, which is a culture that it might hurt us later, but it's okay if it hurts us a little bit later, because those people still get to go to those games and get to go to those recitals, and God, I hope they're better people for it.
I hope so
better
too.
Moms and dads for it.
I want people to be involved in life.
You know?
Yeah.
It was good. It was good. You know, I had my years of coaching Little League, year after year, coach. You know, being at all the cheerleading competitions and the whole 9 yards. You know, now what is it? My son's gonna be 20. My daughter's 16. Gonna be 16. You know, it's like, you know, they're getting older now. So now it's more about me, if we're being honest, right? It's almost like my big, I don't want to sound like a selfish dude, but yeah, we are getting to the point where we're moving past the, like 2 more summers with my daughter. And hopefully it's not like that. Hopefully, you know, we're all around the whole 9 yards. But so now it's, I did those things, and now it's about really harnessing on, like, I don't know, creating a legacy for myself, creating a name for myself, and like doing the show like you guys do is my verbal diary. That's how it started. And that was my mental health aspect of it. Right. It didn't matter who listened. It was a matter that I was getting it off, and it was there forever. Right. This is my thoughts. You're going to be there. It's going to be here. You're going to be able to listen to it, unless they, you know, we start old school book burning, like, you know, deleting files and shit. Which, who knows, it could come too, you know. So
well, and it goes back to the pillars, being a protector and love, right?
Dude, it's real.
Your pillars are how I live. That's why I said I had one to add to it. And it's not giving a fuck at what other people think about you. It's about doing what you need to do. That, to me, it's such an important aspect of men's mental health, is not giving a shit about not about other people, but it's about how other people think.
So if you look at this,
you live your life by that, it's a terrible way to be.
But so I'm gonna actually, no, you're totally good, dude. I think it's really important to expand on that. The number 2 item. So let's just recap number 1, right? So I don't know how to not work hard, and like literally I don't know how to. I'm dumb. I'm really fucking dumb.
Yeah, I mean, it's not.
What else are you doing?
You learn from your failures, right?
Yeah. And what else are you doing right now? You could be watching TV. You can sit on your ass, right?
Yeah. I mean, and right, be fucking stuck in social media land for fucking eons. Scrolling, watching the videos of the dude fucking building a fucking like a resort park with fucking mud.
Right, out of bamboo.
Out of bamboo, and I'm like, that I don't.
Holy shit, guy. I'm gonna take that guy's class.
I want to make a name for myself, bro. You know, it's like working hard. But I was amazed. I was doing a fireplace all day, indoor fireplace, doing cultured stone. Was late getting to my show, ripped my show off, coming here, do this. My wife's like, "Why are you doing all this stuff?" Why? It's because what else am I going to be doing? I'd be sitting around watching the news or watching some, you know, bullshit. But this is how we're going to grow, right? If you have a dream in life and you want to do something, then you're going to have to do it. The most interesting thing my customer said to me today was interesting, because we were talking about the show, and he goes, you know, I've had a lot of things I want to do, and I just never do them, and I don't know why. And I said, well, why? He goes, well, if I had to think about it, I just don't know how to start. And so, well, you start.
Nobody
Right?
knows
Like
how to start.
I didn't know how to start my first podcast. When we went live the first time, I had no idea how to go live. Like neither one of us did. We didn't know how to put the stream keys in correctly. There was all types of technical issues. It was our first show, and our first 3 shows were absolute nervous wreck. Something we never did before, but you just do it, and you have to have like I was always the type of person where like I have the confidence in myself to do this.
Mhm.
Right? It starts like if you want to have proper men's health, we have to teach men how to be positive, how to trust in their own selves. Because every single man every person I've met, they have an ability, right? They have to be able to access their own personal ability, and everyone has a purpose. Everyone has an ability in this world, and we have to get these people to figure out what they do good, and we have to put people in positions to succeed. And I think mental health when people have a sense of purpose,
Dude,
I think the mental
it's
health almost
life-changing.
falls it almost falls itself into place. You find your role, you become part of a team. You're not just someone that's sitting at the sidelines lost anymore. And there's so many people that are just lost.
Yeah, no,
Right?
it's real. And
It's
and
real.
it's
Your pillars are
absolutely.
something to live by, honestly.
I appreciate that, and and I think that I speak for the Jarl as well, in which sometimes your best conversations happen when you're sitting around fucking bullshitting with your best friend drunk, but nobody ever writes them down. We just happened to record them, and now we were like, all right, cool, this is fucking real, and and so like to add on to your thing that you were saying, your sixth pillar, it actually falls underneath the second one. Protect yourself. So people forget to do that. You've got to protect yourself. You got to say no. I'm not like we've had podcasts where we've talked about the art of saying no. I'm not fucking doing that today. I don't have the time. I have plans. This is my time. It's also the understanding of like if I post a video and there's negative feedback, I don't fucking care. I really don't. If I go to the store and I'm kind to somebody and they're a dick to me, that's not my fucking problem because I hold myself to the things that I live my life by, which is be kind always. Like, try to be kind always. I was a dick for a long time. I was a fucking Marine infantryman. I thought my shit didn't stink. I literally talk shit to other service members, and I still will, but I literally talk shit to other service members because they weren't an infantryman. And now I look back and I'm like, maybe it was warranted, maybe it wasn't, depending on the situation, right? But at the end of the day, you have to protect yourself. You have to say, I don't fucking care what other people think because I know my purpose in life and I'm protecting that. I've got to fill my cup first before I let you fucking have any of my sunshine. Al,
Yes.
you're welcome.
Fucking sunshine.
No, I agree with you. I love to argue. So if I was going to argue back to you, I would say technically protecting yourself wraps up all of your pillars, right? Because like working harder than life, love everybody, communication, extreme ownership, that's all part of protecting thyself. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
you can call it the Trojan if you want.
That's what I'm saying. So that's the only reason why I was saying like I can make a suggestion for a pillar because I think like that is one of the most important things is just trusting yourself and fucking what everybody else thinks. I think 90% of the problems that face men and men's mental health are other people, are the conditions of which they think they need to act. Right?
Yeah.
A real man is going to act the way they want to act. That's why I say gay dudes could be gay dudes. Gay dudes are men in certain circumstances, because if you are not fake and you are who you are, hell what everybody else thinks. I'm a man who likes other men. You're a man. That's what makes up a man. If you could be a gay man and live by your pillars. You know what I'm talking about? It's about taking accountability for yourself and to hell with everybody else. My thought process is men would be way better off if we believed in ourselves more, if we had a way more positive outlook on our own self. But society, women, everybody, they're constantly trying to dog you. Nothing you do matters, right? You are just part of the patriarchy that's been oppressing women just because you're a man. It doesn't matter how good you treat your woman, you're still an oppressor. And nothing matters about a guy. Like, sorry to drag on, but one more point.
No, you're good.
I used to watch that fucking Paternity Court, right? You ever watch that? It's great. Where it's like, hey, you are not the father. I love that type of shit, right? And the girl, the woman who does it's like, you are the father. Yeah. So it's fucking good. But one of the things you notice is, like, when it's not the father and the guy really, really, really wanted to be the father.
Yeah.
All the girl has to do is throw a fit, start crying, fall on the ground, and everybody's going to run over to her. Meanwhile, that dude's standing there just killed. Broken,
completely
destroyed from what she just did to him, and he just has to stand there with no support like this. With his chin up in the air,
you have the guy
just grinning and bearing that she just did you so dirty. One dude went to jail for 5 years for not being able to pay child support, and he was doubting it was his kid the whole time. Found out it wasn't his kid. Like this type of stuff, and he had endured that stuff. Society's against men. And we have to be able to train people to be positive about themselves, to fuck what society thinks.
Well, and sometimes we're our own worst enemy, too, right?
For sure.
Is dudes cutting down other dudes, and I think that partially needs to stop. You can't just be cutting down. You can't, even if you're not buddies, even if you see a random dude, you can't just be like immediately jumping to cut this person down just because.
Unless he's a Seahawks fan.
It's funny because like that's what guys do, right? So when you guys hang out, it's nothing but ball breaking, it's nothing but cutting you down. But everyone knows the difference between a real insult and a ball break.
Yeah,
right? There can be a fine line there. It can be like you're treading that fucking line, But no, you're right, man. We really have to be more. I don't want to sound more cognizant and all this stuff. Like, men, we have to take it upon ourselves to make ourselves happy.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And we have to stop being afraid of this stereotypical what other people are going to think of us stuff. That's why, I think a lot of the fear that these guys have of just talking is because of the fear of what other people are going to think. That's why I think that's so important. It's like we have to get people to the point where it's like you have to come to grips with who you are, who yourself is, and society. You can't let society dictate who you are anymore. And when you get to grips with that, I think, like I said, I think everything else almost falls into place with that. When you don't give a shit about what society thinks.
And
that's the only reason why I keep bringing it up. I think it's so important.
I think that's why we say be toxic too.
Yeah,
like we say be toxic, open up doors, slap your woman on the ass, smoke cigars, drink whiskey if you're not an alcoholic, drink mead, be a man, chop wood, drive fast cars, be toxic.
Be toxic. It's funny,
watching
your stuff. Right. The most interesting thing from listening to you guys that I think about all the time, and I texted this to you. Being a man is the root of all men's problems, but being a man is the solution to all men's problems. That's the crazy part about this whole solution, right? Or this whole man's ordeal. It's because you're a man, you are going to face this shit.
Yeah.
And the only way to overcome it is by being a fucking man.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right? Shut the fuck up and be a man. Smile, be positive, and live your life and be happy and make yourself happy. And the only way you're ever going to be a man and you're ever be able to make anybody else happy is by being a man. Last thing, you know what drives me crazy? This is what happens when you get a little jack in me, right? You know what drives me fucking crazy? The happy wife, happy life man.
Oh yeah.
If you're one of the people that are that, I don't apologize because I'm just talking honestly. You guys drive me fucking crazy because I change it to happy spouse, happy house. Right?
That makes way more sense.
That's way more sense, bro, because it's when you tell me that you're already defeated. You're already telling me your happiness does not matter. Those dudes are always miserable. Your happiness matters.
Yeah.
Men's happiness fucking matters. It's not just one person, right? And we've that saying has beat men to death. Well, happy wife, happy life. Well, no, you're a miserable motherfucker.
Yeah.
Right?
Dude,
you are
you
a
gotta
miserable
stand up.
dude.
Yeah, you gotta stand up.
Yeah,
Happy house, happy spouse. Let's do this shit together. Let's have all of us be happy. How about that?
No, I agree with it. And like I think the best relationships, that I've seen, and I'm blessed to be in a great relationship right now. We battle all the time, like all the time, and it's because you empower your partner, your spouse, your loved one to be themselves. And if you find somebody that will do the same thing for you, like totally good. And I'll give you an example, right? My wife loves horses. I have no fucks to give one way or another about a horse. It's really a thing. But it's her happy state. And she puts up with all my meadery bullshit. And it's been 2 years plus
It's immense, yeah.
of fucking just heavy work, right?
Shit. Yeah.
Yes, for lack of a better term, a bunch of
Bullshit.
fuckassery. That's what it's absolutely fuckassery, and she's put up with it. And even last night,
Fuckassery.
yeah, it's a fucking real thing.
Like legit.
I love your names, bro. I love your words.
It's like,
So
it's like a verb, a noun. It's all of it.
It's all of it, right?
Complete cocksockery.
Just don't be a fuck ass in life. That's really kind of what it comes down to, right? So even last night, I'll use this as an example. So we got I had an investor that's looking to invest in the company call late last night, and this is the part where I got to learn yesterday about balance in life. This is after an all-day battle with my dearest friend, the Jarl.
That's me.
All day long in my shit.
Bricks and shit. Jarl, you throw like a bitch, bro. Missed again, mother.
Yeah. You must play for you must play for the Toronto Blue Jays or some shit. Fuck off.
You play ball like a girl.
Yep. No, totally good, dude.
What movie? You know what movie?
Sandlot. Come on, get out.
Yeah,
Get
good.
off, bro.
Thank God. I'm
Hey,
with some real men.
I played at that park
some
when I
real
was a
men.
kid. That was my park.
So,
Legit.
but last night I had this moment where I had an investor call, and he hasn't invested yet, but we have a couple of things that we need to raise funds for, and he just wanted to talk to me about the business plan and ask me some questions. He's a former Marine captain, good dude, whatever. And I took the call instead of sitting down and working and doing the thing that I promised my wife that I was going to do. And a couple of weeks before, she'd been working 15-hour days for her job. And I said, hey, I want time with you. I ended up looking like a fucking hypocrite because yesterday was a 19-hour day for me.
Came back around, yeah.
It came back around, right? So it comes down to having that ability. And she called me out on it. She's like, I wouldn't have ever said anything until you said something first. And it's fair. No, it's she's like, here you go. Yeah. And the reality is, the truth is the truth, right? So if you demand something of your partner, you can expect them to do the same thing. You're the expectation. Yeah. The expectation is for us that, I support her and our horses and building a fucking fence around 20 acres. I said that the way that I said that on purpose because I don't want to do it. But I still support it because it's her happiness, and moving away from my full-time job and bringing men together and families together and people together in a community to have a meetup is my vision and a legacy that I want to pass on for kids, for all of our kids in the company, right? It's a legacy company, right? That's the goal, is to build that and plan it, and understanding that you find somebody in your life that's willing to fucking call you out on your bullshit, but empower you to do your bullshit at the same time is a fucking trip.
You got to be ready to fuck shit up together, right?
Mm-hmm.
The best part about when you've reached a point where she's not mad, but she's breaking your balls about it, like me and my wife, it's one of these things. It's like every night I'm like, hey, you want to come with me? To do the show, because I have to drive. I drive to my to my co-host's house. So hey, you want to go? She's like, yeah, I really want to just come there and sit with you. So, but it's tough because she started working again. She got rear-ended. She used to work with me. We spent 2.5 years like working every day together. And I love my wife. Like I am a blessed, lucky dude. Like, so that's when I tell you guys, like, mental health to me is easy because like I'm a lucky motherfucker. I found, if I had to design a woman, I found her in my brain. I'm not even playing around. Like, everything that I ever wanted in a woman, my wife embodies. Right. And she worked me every day, and now all of a sudden, like, we got rear-ended, and I don't want her carrying bricks and shit anymore. So she got a different job. We don't see each other a lot. So when I tell her, hey, come with me, she doesn't come with me, but she's right there with me, knowing that like this could yield something in the future. So this is worth me working all day. It's not like I'm compromising our life. All I'm choosing to do is try to better it, right?
Mhm,
And
mhm.
yes, it takes a lot of sacrifices. She's sacrificing time with me, right? Because but she has to wake up at 5:30 in the morning. So a lot of the times while I'm getting home from the show, or like tonight, like, hey, I'm getting on with the bearded Viking guys. Well, okay, I'm not gonna see you. I'll see you tomorrow. She understands the end game, and she does. You're right. She tolerates a lot of the stuff, and the same thing with us. It's a give and take, but she's fully supportive,
Mhm.
and that's why I said I'm lucky, because a lot of guys don't have that. A lot of guys can't chase this type of dream where they say, why not me? Why can't I have a big show?
Yeah.
Why not
No.
me?
Yeah. Why
You know
not?
what I'm
Like,
saying? Like, why not? Who the fuck? Who am I? No one knows who the fuck I am, but why not? Why can't I have a really nice, really good, really big show?
no.
And
I mean,
it's gonna take making these type of sacrifices, and she
Putting in the
understands
hours
that, and,
now.
and, and it's awesome.
yeah.
Yeah, but yes,
Putting in the hours now. That way later on it's just hanging out, screwing around.
yeah.
You
But
get
you
sick
have
of
to
each
find
other
that person
because you're
to
hanging
support.
out so damn much.
Yeah, and
You
then you
know?
get to go on a man's trip, and she gets to go on a girl's trip and do whatever.
Yeah.
She
It's
does that now. She
well,
does that now. Like,
man.
I'm not a jealous dude, right? So like
No,
so last year she goes, Mike, my cousin Chris, she does a lot of gambling, right? So she won a free trip to the Bahamas. Her
oh
and
wow.
another person. So she asked my wife, hey, do you want to go? She goes, you mind if I go to the Bahamas with Chris? No, go to the Bahamas with Chris. I don't give a shit. Go have a good
Go
time.
go
It was
catch
a
a
free
tan.
trip.
Yeah.
It's a free trip, right? So she went out there. Yeah, I'm working, but listen, this is part of being it. Go live your life. I'm not one of those guys, right? So like I
Yeah.
said, we have a wonderful relationship, but that's part of it. You get an opportunity to do that, go do it. I have an opportunity
Yeah.
here to do this, and she's fully supportive of me. And a lot of people, I don't think, demand that, right? So like there was times in our relationship where it could have went a different way, where she was trying to change me into something I wasn't. Just because maybe what her friends were saying, or who knows what happens with, every woman tries to change a guy. And I resisted
Hmm.
that because I know who I am. And I
Yeah.
I know my happiness is the only thing. If I'm someone who's fake to appease you, I'm never going to be happy. And then you know what? I'm never going to satisfy you, because if I can't satisfy myself, how can I satisfy anybody else? So no. I'm going to live how I want to live. It's like the weed thing. I've smoked weed. My wife didn't like it. So why smoke before you? And it helps me calm down. Like, I'm a maniac otherwise. Can you imagine me not on weed? I would never shut up. I'd be angry and shit, right?
Dude, no, it's a real thing. It's a real statement.
It's
Yeah.
a real thing. Yeah. So, but
It's
it's one of those things where I stood up and said, no, listen, this is who I am. We're gonna figure out how to do this together, right? But it's not gonna be me changing wholesale who I am. And if that's what you're expecting out of me, then this isn't gonna really work, right? So,
mhm.
but and then me and her learned how to support each other through saying, no, I have a problem with this. Well, I have a problem with this. And we went back and forth. And like one of your pillars, communication, right? One
Yeah.
of the things that I always like want is, tell me when you're mad. Tell me what's going on. I don't want the silent treatment. I don't want that shit. I'm going to bother you. You give me a silent treatment, I'm going to bother you until you talk to me,
Yeah.
because it's
Uh,
going to bother me, and I don't want to be fucking bothered. I want relaxation and happiness. I want positivity, relaxation, and happiness. That's it.
Getting to
Right? And
that point though,
everything else is in the fucking way.
getting to that point takes a lot of confidence, and
Oh,
a
uh,
it takes a ton of being comfortable with who you are.
I fucking ooze confidence, bro.
And
like,
but that's the thing.
That's just something. That's like a real douchebag thing to say. But I do.
You were a ball player.
Exactly who the
You were a
fuck
ball
I
player.
am.
That's what ball players do.
Well, I was a fucking good ball player. You know what I'm saying? So, no, but you're right. Like I am very confident in who the fuck I am. I know exactly who I am. I know what I'm good at. I know what I'm not good at. I recognize that stuff, right? And I'm gonna put myself in a position where I can succeed for my strengths.
And that's something.
I'm not going to compromise myself and live how somebody else wants me to live. That's not living. That's dying. You're dying. You're waiting to fucking die, right?
That's something that we have to get out.
That's what pisses people off. Yeah, live how you have to live how you want to live. Period.
Yeah, we have to get that out to other dudes, though.
Yeah, I mean, like the three of us and the people that typically listen to this. To Al's point, like you gotta teach it. You know, Al. You know, I want you to expand on that a little bit. Give me your fucking thoughts on that, dude.
Well, I think if you are not comfortable and you're not confident, then you're gonna get ran over. You're gonna end up being that happy wife, happy life guy. And I'm not saying be ignorant to your spouse, but having, that communication, that pillar is so important, especially in a relationship.
Yeah.
And being able to be confident in who you both are, her and you, and that confidence going into that relationship and just carrying that relationship through and knowing that you can talk about that, you can communicate. I think that's important. And I think that a lot of dudes that, because of the way the society has been, is really hard for a lot of dudes to be comfortable with who they are and to be confident. Yep. And confidence is so important, whether it be in a relationship or whether you're working, whether you're just going through life, period. And you know what? That confidence is going to take you places, and you might fuck up, but you're still going to be confident in your fuck up, and you're going to be able to say, hey, I fucked up, and keep moving on with confidence.
I think that's actually perfect. Yeah, I think that's actually perfect. And remember those pillars, and let's add that one of that you said there. Put yourself first. I mean, that's really important. It's something that I do naturally because I can't actually provide any of those other pillars without making sure that I'm taken care of first. And you can't.
No, you 100% can. Yeah, fuck what other people think, but you're right, bro. Like, one of my things is I have to be comfortable in myself, and you're right. Like, confidence is, I don't know where it comes from. I think confidence comes from the fear of not giving a fuck, right? Because I just knew, I don't know what in me, I just knew I could do it, right? No matter what the sport was, I just knew I could do it, right? And it's just a matter of saying I can, and not caring about what everything else is. I can do this. Just tell yourself I can, and do it. And most of the time you can do it. You're just afraid to do it.
We've all been in those situations, right? Going into like a bar or a place where a lot of people are. If you look around, you can immediately tell who's confident and who isn't.
Agreed.
Just flat out. It's something that you can spot out of a crowd no matter what.
How does a big fat dude get a smoking hot chick? Just by confidence.
Oozing confidence.
It doesn't just, you don't just need money. All you need is the confidence to walk up and say hi. And if you do it in a convincing fashion, they're going to love you, right?
Yeah.
And some people are going to hate you for it as well. You have
Doesn't
to be,
matter.
And that's the point. You have to be so content with yourself, knowing, like I used to joke with people when they called me conceited or called me confident or called me anything like that. I used to say, no, I'm not confident or conceited. I'm just convinced in myself. I know exactly who the fuck I am. I'm convinced of who I am. So there's nothing you could say to me to unconvince me of who the fuck I am inside.
Right.
I agree with that. I mean, I would say this, right? So the hardest thing for me, and the thing that even, is probably hard for Al at this point, is that we're a budding company, and people got my face tattooed on them, and they want my autograph. And that's not who I am. I'm a fucking dude, right? I'm just a fucking guy. Like, you got my face tattooed on you, and I'm humbled by it. At the same time, though, I don't know how to respond to that. But I've got to be confident in being the face of. Absolutely, I got to be.
Respond to it with gratitude.
Well, I did.
That's an honor. It's a fucking honor, bro.
it's really weird for me because like I'm confident in who I am, and expanding out and reaching people and having the thanks and the gratitude that are sent to us for talking about these important topics for men. I'm doing it because I just don't want my friends to die. That's why I'm doing it. But people are learning and listening, and they want it, and they reach out to the Jarl, and they're like, "Dude, I want it. I want to hear more." And it's really an interesting dichotomy for me because I'm also a very humble person. I'm loud and obnoxious, but I'm very humble,
You
right?
wouldn't you
Well,
wouldn't know that
this
you
goes
wouldn't know that he's
together.
humble. You wouldn't know. But no,
No, but
it's a very humbling experience
you're
because
doing it for the right reasons.
Yeah.
Both
well,
of
And
you
and
are doing this for the right reasons.
we've made
I-
we've made each other a promise way back before this even started that if one of us got out of line, that the other one would reel the other one back. If
Yep.
somebody got too big of a head and got too crazy and started doing it for the wrong reasons, that we would pull each other back, that we would rein everything in. And
Yep.
I think that is important because if you don't have that fail-safe system and things go nuts, you
Yeah.
better damn well be ready.
So I hope the hell, if anything, and I guess we'll take a break on this. All right, like I don't want to run your show, but like I hope the hell. Let's just say my show gets to the point where we have, 1 million, 2 million, 3 million people fucking listening to it, right? Let's just say, who knows, can happen. I hope the fuck that I'm the same exact person. I think I will be. I don't think I'm going to change who I am, and I hope the hell that that I can come at it with a lot of gratitude.
Yeah,
I
you
think
just
so.
need those.
I think
Insanity.
You need those people
Yeah.
around you to ground
Yeah.
you.
Oh fuck
Well-
yeah! I have a feeling I'm gonna have you guys around me to fucking call me out when I become a douchebag.
100%. 100%.
Hopefully, if things go the way I have a fucking vision in my head, we're gonna have a relationship, So
I'm just
You wanna
gonna
take a
start
break?
sending you. Yeah, when you get that big, by the way, before we go to break, I'm gonna start sending you GTL fucking memes.
send me whatever you want, bro. And I hope. Hey, listen, I hope we all get big. I hope your company gets big. I hope. As big as we want to take it, right?
Yeah,
Like,
I'm not.
if you don't want to get huge, you don't need to. But I hope we could. I hope we could together live it throughout, or whatever, however we see it.
Yeah, I agree.
However we want it to go. That's it.
The
man.
masters of our own universes.
We are.
Yeah.
We fucking what you just said right there. That'll solve men's mental health. You have to be the master of your own fucking universe.
The biggest thing for us is like I told the guys, I'm like, in 5 years we're gonna take over the world, and people think I'm fucking around, and I'm like, no, man, we're gonna fucking we're gonna win the mead
I just
championships of the world.
Man. Like,
Like a
there's,
fucking-
there's so many like-minded people like us that we're stuck arguing with each other, and we're stuck in these labels and these sides in this toxic tribalistic mentality. And like I want to get a group of people that doesn't matter what you identify as, left or right or whatever it is. I want common sense thinking people that want to get together and make a difference, bro. I want to affect the fuck world. I'm not bullshitting you. I at least want to affect America.
I need an
That's my
outlet.
aim. I want to leave it. I want to leave an indention on this place. I want us to remember what it's like to love our country.
I want to be
Yeah.
I literally want to be the Alexander the Great of mead. I want a fucking bottle of mead in every household
Just
in the
retake
world.
over the world.
I don't give a shit, man. Like
Prestige. Worldwide.
worldwide. Anyway,
so when you finally make it, do you get out of the bathtub? Because you make
No,
it out of
dude,
the
we
toilet
stay
bowl.
fucking-
You just
No,
scoop
no,
it out,
So
dude.
you're
No,
gonna stay
pour it
from
in the
the
bottle.
bathtub your whole life. All right, I like
dude.
it. I like
But
it.
no, like we moved, we graduated from the the toilet bowl to the top, the double decker in the toilet bowl. Now we're in bathtub hooch, and bathtub hooch is where it's got to stay. You know what I'm saying?
It's gotta
Okay,
be there.
good.
Yeah. So
Good.
let's jump
I like
into the conspiracy corner. So, I was kind of torn. I want to talk about paranormal shit, but the two of you guys, fucking
with
send
conspiracies. Better with
fucking
conspiracies
send
than
me
video.
down fucking all sorts of shit. So we're gonna do a little bit different. We don't have a specific topic, but I want to talk about high level bullet point notes and have some back and forth on your favorite conspiracy, Mike, and then over to the Jarl, and then I'm gonna talk about my two. I have two that
Oh,
I think are
shit.
real.
He gets two.
I get to, yeah. I'm
Gets
the fucking
two. He's the
host.
host,
I'm the
so he
host.
gets to
I'm the
two.
host.
I'm the cheeky sidekick.
So it sucks that I only have to pick one. Now let me ask you a question: is it a conspiracy theory if it came true?
Okay, listen, that's actually a truth.
Yeah, that's the hard part.
Do I get to count that? Because I was a conspiracy
yes.
theorist under COVID the entire time, and I was right about gain of function research. I was right about everything, from COVID from the very beginning on up. So I don't know if I was a conspiracy theory or a correctionist theorist. I think
it's where the origin was, where the origin started.
We'll just say a blue conspiracy.
So it's not even a conspiracy of where the origin is anymore. It's like fucking well-known fact. That's the problem. So
what I'm saying.
You want me to give you my original conspiracy theory, my favorite one that I think is still a conspiracy?
Let's go.
Yeah, let's go with that. But what I was saying before we jump into that, let me expand on that a little bit. I was saying at the time you were a conspiracy theorist, and now it's right.
We were all conspiracy theorists then. We were the assholes.
Anybody's called so much.
We had to move to like Reddit and Rumble and
no, you can't be on Reddit. Reddit's not the people to be on because they're all fucking jabbers. I can't do it.
I'm just saying, like we had to move to other places, right? We couldn't stay where we wanted to stay.
I just wanted to fucking breed hate and discontent on Facebook. I liked getting banned every fucking 5 minutes for fucking saying no.
I was just trying to stay toxic. I got my GWAT on Facebook.
Yeah. I got my prisoner of war fucking medal. Fuck, I'm POW MIA for fucking, I don't know, probably like a
30
year
days
and a half
at a
total.
time.
Yeah.
So many of my conspiracies lately have come true. But what were you asking me? What's my favorite conspiracy? Oh, yeah, is that empty?
I was trying to get all the drops out, but
I seen that you were actually tapping the top of the bottle.
You got it,
Dude, you have to hit the JMO. You have to hit it like the ketchup
bottle. It's like a ketchup bottle. Yeah,
you
got to hit.
You got to hit the Heinz 57. Hit the 57. There we go.
Hit the 57, motherfucker. Hit the JMO.
Jesus, come on, fucking rookie.
I'm sorry, guy. That's my bad. That's on me.
Fucking rookie. Jesus,
fucking guy.
This fucking guy. Let's jump into your favorite. Your okay. Maybe we don't need to do favorite. I want to know your most outlandish one that is like possible real.
Like you just listened to that podcast on the Sean Ryan show. Is any of that in the wheelhouse of your craziest conspiracy theory?
See, once again, that Sean Ryan show, to give the listener some perspective, was a lot of ancient civilization type stuff. So I'm not sure that's real conspiracy theory. Like, so when I think about conspiracy theory, like the thing that pops into my head is like 9/11.
Okay.
Which is
Right.
Which is not a conspiracy anymore, but yeah.
Yeah.
But it's still a conspiracy to a lot of people because a lot of people believe the original narrative on it, right?
It's taboo. So, it's a conspiracy theory because it's taboo.
So like there's still people to this day that don't believe that the buildings were imploded.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
There's still people that believe that.
I was that way for a long time. There's still people that
believe that planes legit took those buildings down. And just from a builder's perspective, I can't comprehend how it happened. That's why it's my favorite, and it's my favorite one to try to wake people up on. Because from a builder's perspective, it doesn't make sense how it all imploded on itself and it vaporized, like it turned into dust.
No, and if you start looking at it, was it 2 weeks before Cheney or Rumsfeld? Cheney said that we lost $3 trillion. We didn't know where the fuck it was. It was Rumsfeld. Whatever.
Rumsfeld.
Fucking mix and match the guy.
$3 trillion went fucking missing.
And then you had the owner of the buildings up the insurance policy.
Right. And on top of that,
6 months before.
Right. And on top of that, right, you have a plane that flew into what part of the Pentagon? The accounting side of the Pentagon. And the backup for the building for the backup was literally at the base of the World Trade Center. Come on, man.
7.
And hold on, let's add to that one. And the only footage we happen to have of the most videotaped building on the fucking planet is one grainy ass video from across the street from a fucking gas station where all you see is something hit the Pentagon that looked like a missile
Right.
But you know, I don't know.
It was a plane.
They didn't find any remnants of a
But-
plane. Like
But
none of that shit.
these guys took flight lessons and knew how to fly Cessnas. But all of a sudden,
like-
jumping into a 737 or 747 was real fucking easy that day.
And
Well,
apparently they couldn't even fly the Cessnas. They weren't even proficient at flying the Cessnas, right? But think about this, like what I was saying before, right? You guys just tell me, like anybody watching this right now, put it in the comments where I'm wrong, and maybe I'm wrong because I'm trying to figure out how I'm wrong. This is how I learned, because I will admit, like, okay, fine, you proved me wrong, right? But let's just work through this in our heads in a logical way. And remember, I'm a concrete guy. I'm concrete guy, right? I break it up for a living. Every day of my life, I break concrete.
He's hard as a
Okay?
rock. He's hard as a
Okay?
rock.
He's like
So-
a Chevy.
So stay with me for really quick. I'm sorry if this goes slow, but stay
No,
guys, stay
no,
with
no.
me, right?
Let's break it down Barney style.
Let's break it down fucking Barney style. That first floor, the first floor that they built, right? That was built to withstand all of the other buildings that were on top of it, correct?
Yeah.
We agree on that?
Yeah.
We could agree on that, right?
Yeah.
Even underneath it, all the sub stuff, and it was amazing because they actually had to pour the concrete into wet water. And what they learned was when you pour wet concrete into water and it cures inside water, it cures that much stronger. And it was amazing the type of fucking building that they had to do. But all of it was built to withstand that, right? So the second floor, the same thing, was built to withstand the 100 floors above it, right?
Yeah.
You guys with me?
Yeah.
Same thing with the 20th.
Yeah.
Same thing with the 40th, right? Same thing with the 70th. Where did it hit? The 72nd floor?
I think so. It was like 72nd to 75, I think, somewhere in there.
Let's say 75th floor. Let's just say, you know, and I'm sorry for not knowing
Just break it down in
exactly.
in quarters. Let's break it down in quarters. Hits the top quarter, the bottom of the top quarter.
Top quarter. So exactly. So now the 3/4 has been holding up the top quarter, its weight forever. Right?
Yeah.
Forever. It's been holding up this weight with no problem. Matter of fact, it's built to do this because it's a cylinder inside of a cylinder. So it's
Yeah.
built to fucking sway and twist and move, and it's still holding up its own weight. Right? We're cool. We're with me at the same exact fucking time. So now
Yeah.
a plane hits a 3/4 of the way up. The building itself, the seals and everything from there fail. And now all of a sudden, the lower 3/4 cannot hold the weight up any longer.
Which is
It
going to be
just
less.
says,
Which
"You
is
know
going to be
what?
less.
Fuck it. I just can't hold my strength anymore. I am going to lose all of my strength all at once. Every
go
last
straight
part
down.
of it. Hold on. Yep. Hold on. Then I'm getting excited, right? Then it falls at the speed of free fall, meaning 32 feet per second per second. It's at free fall. And all you see is concrete that's reinforced with metal with I-beams, steel I-beams just exploding. Nothing bound up. Nothing bound up. Not all the carpet, not all the wiring, not all the fucking metal, not all the floor joists, all the concrete, all the floors, nothing bound up. Everything fell perfectly in one spot. Then magically, it happened again in the exact same way. So not only did one miracle take place, you had two consecutive miracles where concrete just lost all of its strength and turned to vapor and dust because of this immense weight that it's always held up.
Just for some
Isn't that
context,
something?
just for some
Isn't that
context,
something?
you know what happened in 1945?
Hmm.
A B-25 crashed into the Empire State Building.
Oh.
Guess what's still there?
The
The Empire State Building.
Yeah.
The building was built to withstand that type of blow, right?
They built
And
that
then now-
building to withstand it because of the Empire State Building in 1945.
Yeah, and they say that, oh no, these buildings are designed to kind of crumble in on themselves. Not the way that was hit, right? So like if the building did one of these and it kind of jackknifed and the top of it kind of fell this way and then it broke and like the bottom came out and it kicked and it broke into like major chunks.
Right.
5, 6, 7 major chunks that fell down and destroyed buildings around it. It came down naturally. That's concrete, right? Concrete is not going to just disintegrate in on itself when you give it way. Like you had that building would have literally had to levitate the fuck up and then come down like a sledgehammer in order to elicit that response. But at some point, it's going to bind to where you have to hit it again with the sledgehammer.
Yeah.
You know, this is concrete reinforcement steel we're talking about. And they still have people convinced that, no, it just magically came down.
And nothing fell on Building 7.
No,
nothing fell on Building 7.
Straight up imploded.
Yeah.
That was straight up imploded.
Yeah. Because it was the backup accounting for the Fed. We'd lost all. And
you can watch that. You can watch that still to today. You could watch Building 7, flash. The top
Boom.
of it in the middle fall first, and then the rest of the building goes. It's like that bitch was straight up imploded.
Well, and then also you look at so I don't want to discount all the lost American lives. Let's make sure because I believe
no, they were murdered.
They were murdered.
Absolutely murdered.
Right. Let's make sure we all know that we're saying that the Fed is fucked. Let's make sure we're all on the same page. They were covering up the deep state, and that's really kind of the genesis of the theory that's real. And so
George Bush.
Yeah, no, you're totally good, right? And it falls in line with where I'm headed on this, right? So, on that day, we lost 3,100 Americans, right? How many people actually go and work in those buildings daily? Way more than 3,100 people.
Well, way more.
Yeah.
It's a feat. The fact that we only lost that many was amazing.
Well, and the subsequent deaths after that, that's just as sad or even more sad. The subsequent deaths of the first responders that showed up that
FDNY.
They got the asbestos and got the chemical. I mean, there was a burn pit.
Yeah.
It was a burn pit for months.
Yeah, can't wait.
Yeah,
it's so tough because when you talk about these things, it's like, I look at George Bush and I analyze his face. When they told him when he's sitting in front of those kids with reading, I think he was reading a book in front of some kids, if I remember right. Mm-hmm. And you just watched his face. And when I look back at his face, I remember him saying like he looked pissed, but he almost had like, I can't believe these fuckers did this to me look. Like almost like he knew something. He knew they were gonna fucking do something, and they can't believe they chose to do it to him. I don't believe that our government was behind it. I think the people that pull the strings behind the government were behind that type of shit, And then what happens is, to me, and this is the part that like I wrestle with as like a regular citizen, because like you guys went and fought for that shit. And it's like, and what you have to remember, it's like you really were fighting for your brothers because you were sent over there, and it's really about us. No matter what happens, right? The lies that are being told, no matter which way you look at it, whether you accept them for lies, it's very interesting how much carnage they're willing to thrust on all of us to hide some of the crazy shit that they're doing. How many lives, like I said, you guys still deal with it, right? How many lives did this really affect? It's immense.
So one of the things that I can't get over is how the passports magically floated down and they found the passports. So that's one thing that the second that started to come out and I was able to think critically as an adult, I'm like, okay, well, that's like that moment that you buy chickens and start raising chickens and become a conspiracy theorist.
Yep.
But when you bring in
but it brought out the best of America.
Well, it did.
Isn't that some shit? We were the greatest country on the planet for 2.5 months.
Oh yeah. Well, and the thing too with the
we're all united.
People joining, people joining like when JT did, people joining shortly after, like when I did. It was still, everybody was pissed. But
still pissed.
It turns out now you're just fighting for the brother to your left and right. You're fighting to get out of that.
Which is really fucked, right? I mean, I love my brothers, don't get me wrong, right? And
I shouldn't be in that situation.
It's really, and it made me the man that I am today, and maybe that's like something that will come out of it that's good. Maybe eventually, like what we're doing.
That's what they're scared of today.
Yeah,
They're scared of us.
Because we're now the Vietnam veterans 2.0, right? We even left the fucking Afghanistan the same way we left fucking Quezon, right? Like it's a fucking real thing. Like literally fucking photo from photo of a shit hook or Chinook fucking pulling people off the top of the embassy in fucking Afghanistan. Like literally the same fucking photo. Yeah. And way. And like for me, it's really hard to, and I struggled with grasping it wasn't that I didn't put it past the government. It was I didn't want to accept it because of what happened in my life, my personal life, and the carnage of that. Because it's like, no way that I live in the greatest country in the world and these fucks did this thing.
No, it was that Toby Keith song. We're gonna put a boot in your ass.
Yeah,
because it's the American way.
Yeah,
you know, R.I.P. Toby. But we were so fucking young. We were so fucking young.
Yeah, I mean, and it's hard because
you didn't know what was going on, man. None of us did, right? Like this is we're talking. You know, you have to remember something. The way we're talking now is 20 years later.
Yeah,
right.
We're Monday morning quarterback.
Yeah, we're Monday, and we can Monday morning quarterback the shit out of this, and we should, right? Because like nothing for nothing, like it's the same thing with COVID. It's the reason why my co-host writes
his book. Yeah,
it's the reason why he writes the book. Fauci's fiction.
Yeah,
right. Mm-hmm. He's writing another one called Vaccine Fiction. Right. You have to do these things, and you have to make light of them, and you have to learn about them, and you have to talk about them, and you have to expose the fucking lies, the clear lies that have come from it. And it's like it's not a conspiracy. Like 9/11 is not a conspiracy. This shit really happened, and we sent a lot of people to fight for a reason and a cause that we really don't know. Like you said, we left Afghanistan. We fought the Taliban. Like from a guy who didn't do it. We kicked the Taliban out. We were fighting them for a while. I call them Talibans. And then all of a sudden we left, and now the Talibans are stronger than they ever been, right? So like, what was our game plan? What was the cost? Like, what did we gain from all of the lives that were lost and all the decisions that were made? And now those people are still making the same decisions. We haven't held them accountable for anything that they did. And it's just things like this bother me, you know. It's like, and it cost a lot of Americans' lives, and it's still costing lives. And we really didn't need to be there. We didn't do any of this stuff. Well, and it's just lies. And if we allow the lies, it's never going to stop.
The problem is now that we did OIF, OEF, and there's tons of veterans died, or tons of military personnel died, right? Mm-hmm. And then there was tons that were, maimed and it ruined their lives, right? Young men that their lives were ruined, they got blown up, they lost limbs, everything like that. Now, the aftercare, the aftercare started immediately after. And the aftercare is just not there. If you're going to spend trillions of dollars on war, then you have to expect to spend double that or triple that on aftercare.
Yeah.
And right now, a fun fact, not so fun fact, the as far as prosthetics go, the prosthetics advancements between the Civil War and 2001, we made more advancements from 2001 to now than we did from the time the Civil War happened to 2001.
I mean, it's fucking brutal, dude. Like, as a combat vet who has friends that don't have legs, and you're a vet that has friends that don't have legs, that are fucked up and everything else. The amount of life that is lost after the war due to the PTSD and trauma that you can't get rid of, right? You can't, we talk about it all the time, and like the focus on the negativity of it instead of empowering men to be strong, and women, like empowering these veterans to overcome it. Like, hey man, you fucking survived. You're a warrior. Like you don't have the things that you had before, but we're gonna fucking help you and assist you. It's fucking not there. I mean, I remember when I got home, and dude, I ran a dude. So this dude cut me off, and I was it was my second marriage, and I had 3 stepkids, and my 3 daughters with me. and my ex-wife, and I was coming home from the zoo, and this dude cut me off on the freeway, and I ran him off the road, got out of the fucking van, popped the trunk, and grabbed a fucking tire iron, and I was gonna beat the shit out of this dude. That's not who I am. I'm
Mhm.
whatever, dude. I'm just not that guy. And then I tried to go get fucking help from the VA, and this is early days VA. Their mental health program is a lot better now, a lot
Mhm.
better, and it's actually the only thing that the VA that I'll go to. Otherwise, I'm just gonna go there to die. That's how I feel with the actual healthcare side of things, right? Because it's socialistic healthcare, and that's a whole different topic that I don't really want to get into right now. But you know, I went there, and they started just prescribe, like, not addressing the problem. They started just prescribing pills. Like,
Yeah.
they were like Prozac, and they put me on Wellbutrin, and then all of a sudden they're like, "Hey, none of these are working. We want to put you on lithium." And I literally, to this day, I'll tell the story inside and out. I looked at the psychiatrist and I said, "Do I look like a fucking pink bunny rabbit to you? Because that's the shit that they put in batteries." And she looked at me. She's like, "So you want to go a holistic route?" I'm like, "Why isn't it an option first?"
Yeah, well, I
Why
mean,
isn't it the first option?
one of our very close friends, that probably one of the main catalysts of you creating a mead company, who you got your bees from and your hives from.
Oh, good watermelon elk. I love him.
At one point, he was on. We were 23 years old, and he was on, I think, 15 different medications for mental health and for PTSD and for all of that. And that's all they wanted to do. And it took him getting his own, and all he wanted to do was talk to somebody. And he had a good job at the time, and I said, listen, dude, you need to get your own, you need to sign up when it comes to open enrollment and get your own private insurance, and you need to go talk to somebody. There's no reason that you need to be on all these pills, because it was fucking him up.
Dude,
And
I
he
100%.
got that private health care insurance, went to go talk to somebody, and I think it was probably like 6, 8 months later, he was off all the pills, and he
I
was feeling better.
We talk about gain of function with COVID. I mean, honestly, they use gain of function on every veteran ever,
They prescribe
all the
until you
time.
die.
Yeah, they they gave us fucking doxycycline overseas to fucking combat malaria as a precursor, right? The problem with that is doxycycline actually causes your skin to burn. You become sensitive to light, and you're in a fucking desert, for Christ's sake. Like,
Hmm.
fuck off. I stopped taking it. Right?
When like hydroxychloroquine was known to just, I think it like stopped malaria in those fucking
Eliminate it.
countries.
Yeah.
Eliminated
Yeah.
it. Yeah. So
And,
and
and
that's a safe drug.
Yeah.
right, and then
it's like 2 cents
doxycycline
a
also,
pill.
yeah, and doxycycline also has now been linked to schizophrenia
Hmm.
with
So
prolonged
like
use.
so
And that shit
when
was up the nose in some cases for the malaria pills,
Yeah.
or for
it
the malaria
brings
treatments.
yeah, it brings someone like me who sits back and is observing all of this stuff. I sit back and go, how many of you guys are we, or people are they willing to sacrifice? Right? It was
Mhm.
that's why I harp on the fact that we have to learn from these events, and we have to, like you said, when you have something, what is it, after assessment report or whatever the fuck you
After
do, when you
action.
do
After action.
something,
After action.
yeah, you get together, you say, what the fuck happened, what went well, what went bad, blah 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 blah. We have to be able to do that, and there, these people do not have our best interest at heart. They're willing to sacrifice you boys. They're willing to sacrifice me. They're willing to sacrifice all of us. The same thing in Russia right now. Russia's a war of attrition, right? They're willing to
Mhm.
sacrifice like just so many thousands and millions of people if it fucking need be to get to where they are. You're expendable, right? And the only way we're ever going to have any sense of power is if we get together and make it happen for ourselves, right? Right. It's we have to get together in groups and make it happen.
So
That's it, because otherwise we're fucked, you know?
we talked about the lives lost. We talked about the people that died in the towers, the after effects of the first responders, and then we talked about the troops dying, maimed, things like that. But there is a very small silver lining that I do want to touch on, because yeah, they pulled the wool over our eyes. They totally fucked us. And we shouldn't have been there. It should have never happened, right? But the silver lining of
If you
the
say
whole thing,
cryptocurrency, if you say
you
cryptocurrency,
shut the
I'm
fuck
charged.
up. You get the fuck out of here. I will mute button you. No, the silver lining of this whole thing is the veterans that came out, like Travis Mills. Those shining stars that went through all that, quadruple amputee, started a foundation, and is helping veterans.
Yeah.
Despite it
It's
all.
also you guys, right? It's also you guys. It's also, the people that I play cornhole with that just are talking to me, and then they go and they support each other. They're doing what you do. Sometimes it's like they go, me and this one guy. I was talking to one guy. He goes, me and this guy Phil get together just because we don't even have to say anything. We just know, and like we don't need to talk. Just being with each other is cool sometimes. It's like that's how they process it. But it's the same thing with you guys. You guys are doing the exact same thing.
Yeah, and that it created a culture that I hope continues to grow.
Mm-hmm.
Despite all the bad, all the war, all the just detriments to people's lives and things that happen, but it created those bright spots, right? Those people that may not have done what they're doing now. It definitely ended up being a just slingshot or catalyst to get them to where they are now, where they're helping people, they're reaching out, there's new treatments, there's new things that are happening, and the good docs that have actually created these things, created prosthetics, created treatments, and veterans helping veterans, right? That's one of the biggest things that you could ever ask for.
It's real, and I want to say something before we move on to your
100%.
conspiracy. It made it for me. It made it easier for many veterans to realize that we have a voice, that we can say no, fuck you, dude. Like, we worked for them. Like, fuck them, right? And every single motherfucker out there who's calling for a civil war or a rebellion or whatever, like, you don't fucking know, and you need to stop.
That means, yep.
You don't know what that means, because like, you're going to have to fight your friends, you're going to have to fight your families because they have a different view. Fuck off. How about find, like, most of us, really, if you've been in combat at all, you're like, I don't want to go back. That shit's fucking stupid. It's really fucking dumb. Most of us are like, how about we find compromise? And like, that's going to be the driving force in what fixes America, is finding compromise again.
Well, and it's kind of like what Dorito said on your show on Monday. There's not going to be another civil war.
No.
And the thing is the people that are calling for that, there doesn't need to be a civil war. You just have to hold the people that you're voting for, the people that are getting into the offices in these local municipalities and cities, and then it'll grow to the states, and then hopefully countrywide, across the country.
Fuck those
You
bitches.
have to hold them accountable so they do what they're supposed to be doing, and get these old heads out and get these people that are understanding in to do it. And hopefully this will be a thing of the past, and we can continue moving in towards a golden age, because I really believe that we're in a really good spot, despite all of the shit that's going on in the world right now, because the shit that's going on in the world is just propagated by all the news and what they're telling you. But really, if you go down to your local dive bar, or you go to your local diner and stuff like that, these people don't want that. These people just want to live the way they're living. They don't want to be disrespected. They don't want their way of life changed. They just want to farm cattle. They want to raise their kids. They want their kids to get smart, and they want a good world for them to live in.
I just want to keep on LIVIN.
LIVIN.
Well, let's just
Is that so difficult, bro? Is that so difficult?
No, it's not.
Shouldn't be.
It's not, man. Like,
Shouldn't be.
I didn't grow up in your shoes. You didn't grow up in mine. But the thing is you can always find, well, not always. You used to be able to always find some sort of like commonality with humans. Listen, the truth is, if you identify as a cat, man, I have nothing to identify with you as. If you fucking love Ferris wheels and you want to have more Ferris wheel babies, like, here's the reality. Eventually, your people will die out because it's only a matter of time. I'm gonna fucking deal with your sickness again. And that sounds really fucked up, and I don't really care, because like you can do whatever you want, and you can have what you can live your life however you want, and we fought for that freedom, and that's absolutely your ability.
Right?
No.
Like silly me. I thought this country was about you do you, I'll do me. I'll leave you alone with your thoughts. You leave me alone with your thoughts, right? This country wasn't about now I have to go along with your thoughts, right? Now I have to take part in your self-image. That's not what this country was about. This country was about you have your self-image, I'm going to have mine, and we all do our own motherfucking thing, right?
Well,
and that's what you guys fought for.
And
E
this-
pluribus unum, out of many, one. We are one individual person. And if we all worry about ourselves, the rest takes care of itself, man. Like I said, everything's about you. Everyone doesn't want to. We don't want to come to grips with that. Everyone wants that you have to be magnanimous. You have to put everybody else first, and all this other. It all starts with you.
Yep.
No, and
100%. You're the only thing that fucking matters.
Unpopular ass opinion is that we're so much like Russia. If we ever combined forces with Russia, nobody would ever say another word because they're isolationists.
They're a Christian nation.
We were that too. We were an isolationist country. We have oceans on the side of us. That's our huge advantage. And if we just go back to being isolationists, or we partner with them, dude, that's gonna.
Can you imagine the good that could happen if Russia and America actually joined forces for good?
Yeah.
Can you imagine what type of world we can create?
What happened in World War II? I mean, if we did it now, there would be nothing. There would be no war, right?
We have the ability to make no war. We live in a time where people I think are sick of war.
No.
Right?
There's no point now.
It's fucking stupid.
The problem is like you always have to have the ability to fuck somebody up. Right?
Mhm.
That's the difference. You need weapons for the ability to fuck someone up. It's like a bully. It goes all back to the bully conversation. The only way to stop a bully, I told my son, if you were getting bullied, punch him in the face. And then the next day you see him, punch him in the face again. The next day you see him, the first time you see him, go after him. Eventually, he's not going to say nothing to you anymore because he doesn't want to be in a fight every fucking day of his life.
It's not worth it.
Yeah, it's not worth it. So you have to be able to defend yourself, but at some point, we have to get over the point where like we have to realize that we're at a point in history where we could go and really thrive as a people overall. There's way less hunger today. Like when you look at the world, it's become such an amazing place. We discount that because we only see the bad, we only see the garbage.
You don't see the news.
The world is fucking. The news only. That's what it is. It shoves that stuff up your ass, right? But the reality is, the world is greener. There's less starvation, right? Way less starvation all over the planet. Like the world, we are actually doing very good with developing different nations that have been historically poor and can never get out of their own way, but because of technology can do different things. Like we're really good as a world. We're just not shown that.
No,
right? It's all negative.
It doesn't
all
sell.
the time.
You
Sex and negativity,
all
death
negative
sells.
all the time.
Yeah, you take the power away from the deep state, and we're living in a good spot.
It's up to us to talk about it, boys. That's the beauty of right now. They're losing control. They put this in place to control us. But at some point, there's too much information and too much freedom. And this is free. That's why they try to control it so much, right? Because they know how dangerous this conversation is.
Absolutely.
One thought.
Agreed.
Imagine a whole bunch of suitable, capable, well thought out guys that you helped. They're dangerous.
It starts as a whisper, right?
Dude.
Yeah.
100%.
It starts as a whisper.
Right? What does Jordan Peterson say? There's no virtue in a non-dangerous man doing non-dangerous things.
None.
Right?
Yeah.
The virtue comes from a extremely dangerous man who does non-dangerous things. Right? Yeah. There's the virtue. The guy that's truly capable of fucking everything up, but doesn't, and is in control over it. That's what manhood is. That's what we have to get back to. That solves all of our problems.
That goes back to like, don't take away. You don't know the fucking, and this is something that's not my words. I watched it on TikTok because I was fucking in the middle of like some studying that Alex sent me to, but it really comes down to you don't know the amount of violence it took for me to become this gentle. And we've said it before, and I live my life in that aspect. If you pull me from this level of happiness, understand that I can't go back to this. And you don't want that, because I'm a very loud, smiley, boisterous, kind of happy-go-lucky guy. But when I'm in uniform and I have a firearm on my side, I don't know anything other than how to win. And you think that you're going to win a fight against me because you can punch me harder than I can punch you. But I will find a way to rip your arm off and beat you to death with it, because I give no fucks about you. Yeah, and when you put me in that mindset, it's game over, and you have an entire generation of people who do that.
If you found yourself that close to us, then you've already lost. Okay? Yeah. You know what I mean?
Dude, JT's like, I'll fucking sew your asshole together and just keep feeding you and feeding you and feeding you.
That's my favorite right there.
My favorite. I glue your eyelids open and just keep feeding you sleeping pills, motherfucker. You know, I fucking love it.
My favorite way for people to be unalived is that you're supposed to say was actually the way that the Mongols did. They would bring in all of these invaders, or the people that they would take over, and they would feast them for a month straight. And they would hold the earls or the dukes or whoever was, the people in charge. They'd hold them by their arms and their legs, and they'd be having a distended belly, and the biggest, like a guy with a key grip, if you get my drift, right? He would run at full speed and jump off of a ledge and land on their stomach and explode them. That's my favorite way to think about, like, if you put me in charge, if you bring me back and you make me do some shit and I take over, like, we're doing that to people because it's going to fucking end it's going to end the game.
Oh, yeah. That's what I'm saying is they should keep these kids out of war and just send us old fuckers that don't want to fucking do anything anymore, and our backs hurt and our knees hurt. We'll end it really quick.
Yeah, real quick. When you say a key grip, all I think is Tropic Thunder with Tom Cruise.
It's exactly what you're supposed to. That's exactly. Who's got a fucking key grip?
You punch that director in the face really fucking hard.
And I want satellite TV.
So
let's switching over. I'm switching over, boys.
Let's switch it over. I fucking love it.
Let's jump into the Jarl's favorite conspiracy theory real quick.
See, Mike fucked me because mine's not so much a conspiracy theory. Mine is like a conspiracy fact, right? We've talked about Antarctica. We've talked about Tartaria. And that stuff really gets the motor revving because there's so much that's being hidden from us when it comes to Tartaria, when it comes to Antarctica. And we talked about it last week when it came to movies and them giving away little bits and pieces. I mean, you even go like to that movie Kong Skull Island where they take him off the island and they take him to Inner Earth, and there's a whole different set of freaking tools that's going on down there. I really think that there's something going on down there in Antarctica. There's something that happened, and it's the reset. I think that, even before the Paul Ryan podcast that we keep referencing.
Sean Ryan,
sorry. No, so I think that's my favorite because there's so much still to be unraveled about it, and they're still putting up the barriers for people to go down there. There's so much that so many barriers that they put where, you can't fly down there because there's not enough fuel. There's no place to fuel up. There's not this, there's not that. But I really think that there's a lot more down there, and I think that there is a ton to be learned down there in the far south.
I think so too. You know, listening to that cast, that's actually good because like my 2 points was actually about Antarctica. We're not really allowed to talk about it as much after people started fucking chiming in from DC, listening in on our and like the weird shit that happened on our podcast. Then we did it and like looking at
We got
fucking coordinates. It's fine. Fuck you guys. Don't fuck
it's
Bro,
around
like
we
with shit.
started-
the second we started talking about
vaccines.
Antarctica, shit started freezing too.
Yeah.
Same thing when we started talking about vaccines, dude. Like everyone all of a sudden got kicked out of our feed. This is on Rumble too. It's like, what the fuck? Yeah, like okay,
Dude.
whatever.
That coincidences. I don't believe in coincidences
Yeah,
at
there
all.
is none.
So I think I agree with you. You know, Jarl. I think that on the Antarctic front, right? I think that there's so much down there because there's that treaty of of Antarctica, the 60th parallel. You know, like they talk about like the Nazi bases that were down there, the American bases, and all these other weird things are down there. Like, there's still got to be at least a nuclear power generator. Where the fuck are they getting the generator from? You're telling me that they're gonna fuck like their power? You're gonna tell me right now that these dudes are hauling in, you know, hundreds of thousands of gallons of gasoline a month to fucking run generators?
So
That gasoline freezes at like fucking negative 30.
So we've talked about
It's definitely advanced civilization.
we've talked about alternate power sources before, right? And we've
Yeah.
talked about technology being just far far and above what we have now.
Mhm.
And so just food for thought on this, right? Because there's been nuclear generators, there's been nuclear power down there, and then the ice shifted, and then that nuclear power just shifted with the ice and left. Okay? So food for thought now in this world that we live in, they're putting nuclear power generators in the back of 18 wheelers. This is not made up. This is a thing.
Yeah.
And they're even talking about doing it here in Utah when the Jazz are playing because the Rocky Mountain Power has to stop what they're doing and plan for the amount of power that the arena takes during
Now-
nighttime.
Everybody with electric cars.
No, but
Sorry,
here's
go
the
ahead.
thing. Here's the thing. So they're now talking about taking one of these nuclear generators that are in 18-wheeler trailers, backing it up to the Delta Center, plugging that bitch in. That way Rocky Mountain Power doesn't have to plan for the power disruption and the power distribution and just cutting that off from the grid and letting that nuke power the arena while the games are going or while the event or concert or whatever the fuck is happening while that's going, and then unplugging it and driving it away.
And the technology is badass now. So now you don't even have the nuclear waste anymore because it all kind of you could reuse the rods. They have really figured out this nuclear energy, and the fact that we're not going 100% in on it is stupid.
So that's what I'm saying is if we have that now and that's coming out now and they're getting ready to do it, and it's already been proven by Lockheed and deathbed confessions that we're far and above where we are now as far as power generation and just basically pulling power out of the ethers. But we're talking about this now. So you can't tell me that there's not some kind of next level power source that's powering all that shit down in Antarctica.
100%.
Especially if you go back and look at the pyramids. And there's pyramids spaced perfect places around the earth to generate power. And all of them were around water sources.
I want to add something to your Antarctic theory. I want to add this real quick, okay? So I was fucking around and being like, what if Antarctica is the world's Ellis Island? And you were like, no way, man, no way. But then after hearing fucking Billy Carson talk, I'm like, dude, for real. Antarctica, to me, this is my theory. I'm going to add on to it because it actually fits. Because we have to learn.
Oh, that was a different whiskey. That's my bad. I was expecting JMO. Got dented brick. Oh, yeah.
So my
Sorry,
thoughts are, and that's actually really good because it fits, because like you have like all of this information that's out there, And obviously, this is my own speculation, but I really think that that's MIB headquarters, dude. Like, that's the Men in Black. That's the fucking gatekeeper. That's where they enter the world. And, I was fucking around on the podcast and saying, well, you know, the alien was like, fuck you, Ma. He's like on a road trip with his wife and he put the coordinates backwards. So if you were the issue, the thing that happened in Florida, in Miami, the Bayside Mall in Miami, if you reverse the coordinates, longitude and latitude, it takes you to the middle of Antarctica. So
Mike doesn't know that our whole podcast got grenaded when we started talking about this, and our computers froze up and everything shut down.
Yeah.
When we were talking about this.
And then the recording disappeared. And it was only because we were lucky because I added Al to the recording. Like, holy shit, dude.
So think about it. Could it be as simple as this? Like, if you're going to be engaging in secret shit, where would you do it? You would do it in the most harsh climate that nobody could get to, right? Like, so they could do whatever the fuck they want to do out in Antarctica. You have no idea. You listen to that one guy's testimony, whatever the fuck his name is. Like, they were doing some next level shit. They had genetics labs and the whole 9 yards. So if you wanted to do the shadiest shit, you're going to go to find like, think about a moonshiner, right? If you're making liquor in the woods, you're going to try to find the most remote spot. Now imagine you're doing the craziest shit imaginable. Mm-hmm. Are you going to do it like out in the open? No, you're going to go to fucking Antarctica. You're going to go where somebody nobody could go. That to me makes sense. I don't know. Maybe I'm too drunk.
No.
No.
This makes perfect sense because we have I live right by Dugway, and the last 3 Chinese satellites that were falling out of the sky just happened to land there. And I think there's one Russian one out there too. And so if you're telling me that we don't have, Star Trek tractor beams and shit like that, you're dumb. And it's out in the middle of nowhere.
Almost everything in the movies we already have. I think they're conditioning in us for like think about Gattaca, the movie Gattaca.
Oh, fucking such a good show, but also fucking so real. Like the fact that like you have
it's coming like real right now.
Yeah, higher born pure blood fucking feeling like looking
CRISPR.
at you.
We just did it on the show. The CRISPR.
You were talking about technology. Oh, dude, CRISPR is terrifying.
It's terrifying. Where you can legit genetically modify somebody as an egg form.
Yeah.
This is what we're fucking talking about, right? Like, this is what we're talking about. We are legit talking about Gattaca shit. COVID was nothing more than demolition, man.
No. Yeah. Do you listen?
It just didn't have 3 shells.
Another shout out.
Without the 3, it was demolition man without the
shells.
The
shells are very important.
But if you think about it, no physical contact greetings, that whole thing where all of a sudden you were fact checked, you couldn't say certain things, you couldn't listen to certain things. We're getting there, right? What if you remember that story in Demolition Man? It got so bad, right? They made things so bad that everyone was just tired of it. And they wanted someone to take over that was going to make it right. And that's how Dr. Cocteau was able to fucking do his thing, right? Because they made it so horrific that he came with all these authoritarian bullshits where you couldn't curse, you couldn't do any of that stuff, you couldn't have sugar, couldn't have coffee, everything that was bad, salt was bad for you.
Taco Bell.
We're heading there.
Taco Bell made it.
Taco Bell made it.
That's just because it's a cleansing. It's a cleanse.
You rent the food. So there's a gentleman.
You rent the food.
That's
very
food.
Accurate. With
so
Taco Bell.
There's a gentleman whose podcast that I just absolutely fucking devour. And his podcast is called Woodford TV. And he was just talking about CRISPR not too long ago. And the trials and the things that they're doing with CRISPR it's terrifying, but at the same time, it's world changing. But unless they put a right and left lateral limit on it, it can get out of hand really fast.
How do you do it? You already had that one Chinese scientist that made genetically pure twins. You don't know where these kids are right now. You haven't heard from them. They exist. They're like 7 years old or 6 years old. When he do it? 2018, 2019. So these are kids that are 5 years old. You have no idea. They walking through walls and shit. Like, what's a genetically pure fucking human look like? We don't know.
Their
right?
tongues are probably a little too heavy
So here's the
because
problem.
that's a CRISPR side effect. But these fucking kids are gonna be
if you
superhuman.
don't perfect it, and other people do, they then control it. It was how did we negotiate nukes? The only way, you had to be better at it. The problem with this is it's too easy to fuck with things, right? We're getting
Oh.
into the world of like we're fucking
CERN?
with genes, and we've seen this Jurassic Park movie where they fuck with some genes, and the genes kind of mutated because that's what genes do, and they really are playing God, and they create some weird shit, and it goes haywire.
What do you think
We're
about the
headed for
fact
some
that
weird shit.
in 2027 we're gonna have a woolly mammoth back?
It doesn't surprise me, but it's also scary.
No,
Once again,
that's
we've
what I'm
seen this
saying.
movie, right?
Well, I've
We've
seen this
seen this
fucking
movie?
movie. No,
Yeah.
100%.
I've seen it.
No, there's a
What
bunch
has
of
Chef
shit like
Goldblum said? At first, it's all, oh wow, yeah, and
yeah,
then it's
and
running
it's like
and screaming and
violence and death and
violence,
carnage.
yes.
No, dude, it's real. It's fucking funny because so not my conspiracy, the one I want to talk about, but on the same thing too. So two things happened last year, and it's not really popular. It's not really known. So number one, in February/March of last year, there was a mathematician student in Australia who solved the time travel theory. He solved the equation. So we all have like this thought, like, oh, time travel is possible, and Einstein talked about it in the theory of relativity, where like and it was
Did he
best
figure it out,
explained.
or did he already know it?
Well,
Yeah,
I mean,
Right. That's
so
the question right there.
he put it out though. He put it out for everybody
Or
to
peer review.
for peer review, and everybody said it's 100% accurate. It's a mind fuck, right? So super mind fuck. The other thing that happened last year is that I can't remember if it was a Brain Institute or whatnot, but they genetically coded DNA strands with AI. So AI, actually, artificial intelligence, which is just a language-based theory, right? So it takes all your languages and all the information and analyzes it and it puts it together and it forms it, right? It's just an algorithm. Now has a genome.
Well, so with that too,
That's
I
a
don't know if
mind
I don't
fuck
know if it was
and
the same
terrifying.
people, but they like basically one-upped it. And they took genes, they uploaded it to the junk DNA because we all have junk DNA,
Mm-hmm.
and they uploaded the code with ones and zeros and then turned it into DNA. And then they were able to revert the DNA code, which wasn't in ones and zeros. It was coded like DNA, but they were able to read it like ones and zeros. So basically, the junk DNA that we all have in everybody's body can be unlocked. So at some point, sometime, somewhere, our DNA got turned off. A third of our DNA got turned off.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
all it takes is that one little thing, that one little switch to turn that DNA back on.
Yeah.
And you're telling me like AI has been analyzing metadata. That's what they do very well, right? So you're telling me somebody can't say, hey, Chat GPT, I call him Bob when I use it, right? I say, hey Bob,
Hmm?
what's the best DNA sequence for human beings? If I was going to build the perfect human, what would the DNA sequence be? You telling me that guy can't formulate the answer? I bet they would, or they could at least come close.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Right?
Absolutely.
And nothing for nothing. I'm not saying that they hallucinate and it's wrong and it misspells things, but one of those things is mass data. AI is very good at, right?
If
So
if what they're
aggregating that data, it's very good at.
if what they're giving us gives us like 7 fingers and 7 toes and stuff like that and spells shit wrong, the shit that they're using knows exactly what it's doing.
Well, the problem is
Yeah.
they don't know exactly what's going on. So the AI is only as good as a human that developed it at this point, right? So it's like this. Some of these things, when you look at that CRISPR technology, they can only replace the bottom part of the DNA. That means the top part of the DNA has to fill in on its own sometimes, and sometimes it can mutate and do different things. They admitted that the person that did the technology I was listening to. She said it. So it's like they're really playing with God. They're playing with fire. And science to me shouldn't be the thing where we go, like we do it first and ask permission later.
Oh yeah.
But it's tough because somebody's going to do it.
We're going
Somebody's
back.
gonna do it. Somebody's
you remember
creating a super soldier. Somebody, Captain America's going to be here pretty fucking soon. Then Thor's coming behind him, and we're going to be living in the
Let's go.
pretty
I want to fucking hit shit with hammers. Let's go.
We're done.
Hammers and
Let's
fucking
go.
lightning bolt.
I mean, you remember, Egypt, right? Guys with with eagle heads and beetles and stuff. I mean, it's coming, right? It's just coming back around. We're just unlocking shit that was already there.
Yep. So this is a perfect segue into my other conspiracy theory. I want to talk about quantum analytics and predictive analytics.
Holy shit, guy!
Bro, it's 1 o'clock in the fucking morning for me. You just said quantum analytics and fucking predictive analytics. Holy shit! I don't know if I have enough Jack Daniels and water.
Buckle up, motherfucker! I told you.
You better fucking strap
Thunderdome.
in. Fucking bro.
Right.
Here's the thing. All right, okay. So I started off my career and became a project manager, just recruiting these big data scientists, right? And the guy that I was working with, who was my general manager, his name is Nick, and he like started introducing me into data sets that were terabytes and metabytes, and then started talking about zettabytes.
What the fuck is a zettabyte?
So a zettabyte.
Delicious. Sounds fucking delicious. I'm hungry as fuck.
It sounds hot. Is it like something from Star Trek? Like a
zettabyte? So a zettabyte is all of the data in a hemisphere.
Okay. So it's bigger than a petabyte.
It's the largest form of data that is known to humans currently. Here's the thing. So in 1999,
the BBC of data.
Yes. In 1999, they started working with predictive analytics. In 2005, they started looking at, and my dates are probably off by a year or two, but this is about accurate, okay? In 2005, they were able to analyze the release of a criminal who was a habitual criminal based off of their background and predict the next time that they would commit a crime within a 1 block radius and a 1 month timeline.
So that movie Minority Report.
Yeah.
There you
go.
Tom
Cruise, Minority Report. They released it early, and you're just barely getting it now.
Right. So here's the thing. And this is my conspiracy theory, right? Everything that we do, and we're so ingrained into the internet and everything else, whoever they are, and by the way, just make sure we're all clear, none of us are trying to kill ourselves. We're super happy in life.
We're super happy. I love my wife. Yeah, I love my kids.
I love everything.
Look at Mike. Mike is super happy. He's not trying to kill himself.
I'm the happiest dude on the planet, dude.
I want you to know.
If you hear me, I kill myself, something is seriously wrong. Yeah.
And if this is the straw that breaks
the planet, there's no reason why I would ever want to kill myself.
I don't have any dirt on the. I want to let you know I don't have any dirt on the Clintons or the Bushes. I had none.
Nope.
Oh, you're
none.
safe. Nope. You're safe. We're safe.
And I promise you, I will not be paddleboarding at the Obamas. I promise you.
And nope.
And you're not a good cook. You're not a cook.
Yeah, I'm not a cook. I definitely don't like. I live by the ocean, but I'm not getting in it around any politician. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're good. I promise. I won't be drowning.
Yeah.
If I shoot myself in the face 3 times, it's not suicide. I promise.
Yeah, I don't have that kind of trigger control. Like, it's not a thing that I'm going to hold on to, right? So let's
shotgun blast in the back of my head. Not suicide, please.
No. Yeah. So here's the craziest thing, right? So you saw the Minority Report where they started predicting things, right?
Yeah.
Then you saw the Avengers. And how they started, like, they put out the shit where they could, like, analyze where people were going to be, and they started, like, targeting that shit, right? Uh-huh. And so now you have 2 movies, and there's multiple other movies that are about this. Here's the thing that is the conspiracy theory. The conspiracy theory is that they already have it, and our lives are already mapped out for them. They already know the people they want to put hits on.
It's just patterns, right? It's patterns.
Yeah, it's fractals, if you want to call it that, based off of Billy Carson.
Well, we've given them everything, right? So we give them our whole lives to analyze, and now people are giving them all their DNA to analyze, and they've clearly able to do that. They know how to release certain agents to kill certain people, and that's what
Thanks,
COVID
23 and me.
Yeah,
I feel really bad about finding out that I'm actually really fucking Norse.
But this is my point, right? So we willingly give up all of our information to them, and the people that are able to aggregate that information, they're either going to do positive things with it or negative things with it, right? And from my experience, humans typically do negative things. If they have that type of power, negative comes with it. And there's always a good versus a bad. That's the beauty of it. That's why all the stories of good versus evil, like it's because we've been facing it our entire lives. We're facing it now, right? There's evil forces trying to destroy America, and there's good forces trying to preserve it. We're always fighting this good versus evil battle, right? No matter what we're doing. That's not a conspiracy theory. It's just a matter of how many good people are going to rise up to fight against the evil.
So here's the thing, right? So if you utilize that predictive analytics that method, right, that thought process, right, then you can predict which nations are going to create what war next.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And if you're part of the deep state or the one world order or whatever the fucking puppeteers are behind everything that nobody wants to admit, but we all know they're there, right? They already have everything planned out. So you're looking at whether it's an economic war or a social media war or a social injustice bullshit, or maybe it's a traditional war, right? My theory is, and this is my own conspiracy theory after living in data and knowing that the most important thing or most valuable thing in this entire world, it's not a fine metal, it's not a dollar bill, it's data. Because without data, you don't know how to refine a fucking fine metal. Without data, you can't make money. Without data, you can't do any of those things. And so you are now looking at the next world war is not going to be fought with fucking nuclear weapons. It's not going to be fought with anything else. It's going to be fought with predictive analytics. And those predictive analytics are going to decide whether or not you live or die based off of your social credit, which we talked about.
Unplug it all.
And you know what?
Kill
this
the lights.
Is not far off. This is definitely coming. All right. And you're right, dude. And we willingly gave up all of our data. We tell them exactly who we are. And like me, like I'm a firm believer that the system knows I'm a threat to it.
100%.
I don't give a fuck. I don't care. I get it. If my show does get big, I know I will definitely be a target and a threat because I speak the truth. I talk honestly. And listen,
look at the shit they did to Alex Jones.
You two, we are definitely going to be targeted.
Yeah.
Well, he brought a lot of that on himself too.
I mean, he's a crazy son of a bitch.
Of it. Yeah.
I mean, he's a crazy son of a bitch. But how much shit
testified
did he predict?
But he also testified openly.
happen?
He testified openly against the Clintons, like in a court. Like that's like, hey, by the way, I'm okay with dying tonight.
But his dad was
so
his
you
dad.
Mean like what the Clintons and Epstein did? Is that what you're talking
His dad was an OG spook, though.
Yeah,
exactly.
His dad was an OG spook. Like he has a premise. He's a little bit crazy. He might be.
But is he a plant?
He may have been. He may have been.
It's like this. Tucker Carlson.
That's hard. It's trying to figure out who is the agent, who's the plant.
Yeah, Tucker Carlson applied to be in the FBI or the CIA. Right? Putin called him out on that. He's like, so for example, I know that you were going to be in the fucking CIA. You tried to be in the CIA. So it's like, is he really still in the CIA? And he's the one that's been trained. Like I think Vivek Ramaswamy was straight up trained to be as good as he was.
100% trained. He was talk
Barack
tracks,
Obama
everything.
Was trained to be who he was. He just didn't come out of fucking nowhere. He was put there.
Obama grew up on Epstein Island right after he left wherever the fuck he was.
Let's not pretend that we have a choice. We don't have these choices. These choices are made for us. And, us talking about it's a starting point. But you're right. This is the stuff that, the problem is they made this device that they thought they were going to be able to control everybody. They thought they'd be able to control the narrative. But it's like what Elon Musk did. If you really want to control things, you have to make it open and you have to make it open source, right? Because
Mhm.
what are they going to do? They're going to kill all of us. If you make a hydrogen car and you're the only one that knows about it,
Bro,
or you make
homeboy
some
fucking died.
all they got to do is kill you, like that one guy
Yeah.
said. All they got to do is kill you, right? But if you
Yeah.
make it
If
open
you
source,
open source.
all of a sudden, now what are you going to do? Kill everybody? That was
It's
the most
just like-
brilliant thing that guy said on that podcast. It was awesome.
It's like it's just like doing open source for a 0 point energy. You have to just make it. You just have to make it open source. And
Stephen Greer is all about
Stephen
that.
Greer, and then
You
you
figured
just
make them stop.
patent the shit that goes around it. But I will end. I'm going to end.
Yeah, because I got to get something to eat, man.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah,
hungry.
Mike's
I'm
hungry.
fucking hungry. It's 1
We got-
o'clock
we
in the
gotta-
morning. I'm starving. I'm like a fat kid that needs some food, baby. And I got enchiladas waiting for me. You know what
Oh,
I'm
see,
saying?
I got
Look at
tacos.
this
I
guy.
got tacos that I gotta reheat.
Look
Same
at
thing.
you, you fucking beaner, you. I love it.
I gotta go
I
upstairs.
love it.
The wife's upstairs slaving away over lemon bars, bro. I'm gonna go upstairs.
Oh,
and eat
you're
some
getting
lemon bars
dessert before dinner. You're not even getting dinner.
No.
You're getting dessert.
I told you what I had for dinner, dude. I had a fucking hot and spicy with cheese, bro. Fucking, I'm
Oh,
in.
that was dinner. That was right.
Yeah.
Number 6 with fucking nuggets. I love it. Wendy's
You
style.
gotta get
Let's
that
go.
10-piece with that sweet and sour sauce.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Szechuan,
Well-
baby. Sorry, go ahead.
No, you're good. The fucking longest podcast in our history, by the way.
This has
our
been, bro.
history.
This has been good, but it flies
Yeah.
by talking to you guys. It's already one. Like I
Yeah.
said, we started this at what 9:30. It's 1 o'clock in the morning for me. I love it.
Yeah. Yep.
I
Yeah.
fucking love it.
Let's do our shout outs. Let's
Let's wrap it up.
let's wrap it up.
All right. So I'm gonna start off with.
Oh wait, hang on. One more thought.
Okay.
One more thought. Last
We're
one.
doing it. Okay.
Because I thought that it was very important, especially after everything that we've talked about tonight. There's a story. It's not a story. It's a lot of people, attested to this. But George Washington died, right? And then George Washington keeps showing up on the battlefield, especially with with Americans on American soil. People have seen this guy riding into battle and people shooting at him and bullets going right through him. So at this point, do we just need GW to show up and just ride to save the democracy? Is that what we need?
Between him and Abe, man. Like if G-Dub fucking starts rocking a fucking 10-gallon hat, I'm in with a beard.
I'm
Fucking, let's go.
telling you,
Dude,
GW just
G-Dub.
riding into battle with the horse and everybody shooting at him to save the democracy.
Even just doing his best Stonewall Jackson. Just standing there just like a stone wall.
Just staring at motherfuckers.
Oh yeah.
Okay,
I'm
you
in.
can wrap it up. You can wrap it
Okay.
up now. That's what I'm
Wrap
saying,
it
though.
up.
We need GW.
They may take our lives, but they'll never
They'll
take
take-
our freedom.
In my mind, it's more. My favorite line from that is really like, "It's my Ireland. It's
Oh,
my
yeah.
island. That's my."
I'm going
that's
to
my
pick a fight. Let's go pick a fight.
Let's go pick a
We
fight.
didn't get all dressed up for nothing.
All right.
Sorry, man.
See,
Go ahead.
that's totally good. Let's do some let's wrap up. So I start off with shout out to Two Mics Live and to Mike Caldarise and his show. Thanks for joining tonight. I really appreciate you. If you guys
Fucking
haven't listened to
pleasure.
them, they're on Rumble. Go download it, find them, listen to them.
The number 2, Mike's Live. If you put it on Rumble, sucks. If you put it in TWO, you'll never find us.
Yeah, it's facts. The number 2, Mike's Live. We'll post a link down below in the subscription description. I've been drinking. Fuck off. I wanted to make sure we do a shout out to them. They rocked our gear. They're super kind. I want to do a shout out to Nick, or Boondock Guy. He's a stud, man. You get a Nick in your life. We have lots of Nicks in our lives, and they're all
The
fucking
Knicks are the
studs.
best.
Yeah.
You need
Can't
a
get a
Nick in
bad
your
Nick.
life.
Like you need a Nick in your life. Shout out to Rob because he's gonna fucking complain about something this week. It's gonna be great.
Can't wait.
And also to
Why'd you guys do a 4.5 hour podcast? I had to listen to the whole shit though. I had to
Hey, you know what? Incentive though for the people that made it this deep into the podcast, 35% off on the Bearded Viking website.
go buy a fucking hoodie.
Two
Hoodie
Mics
season's
Live.
over.
Two Mics Live will be the code,
The discount.
the discount code.
Discount.
If you put it into 2 Mics Live, that would be badass. We'll put that on the show. Like seriously, the shirts are phenomenal. I definitely need a sweatshirt. I can't wait to taste the mead, man. I can't wait to taste it. It's gonna be awesome.
You're gonna get real fucked up real quick.
35% off. That's our biggest code yet. If you made it this deep, 35. Two mics live.
If you made it this deep,
Yeah.
35% off. You get.
Yep.
I love it, dude. You guys are fucking badass. No, listen, it's an absolute pleasure to have you guys on the show. Thank you for having me on the show. Like honestly, it's been exactly what I thought it was going to be. Fun as fuck. A lot of awesome, fun conversation. And you guys, dude, the reason why we rock your gear, we do the things we do is because like we recognize real people, and we support real people. We support Americans. We support American business, American ingenuity. Love you guys, man. It's been an absolute pleasure.
I'm gonna wrap up with one closing thought, and then we'll go ahead and fucking do our shout outs. So I hope you have a sign off, because if you don't have a sign off, well, you're getting passed over. I'm letting you know that. All right. So the wrap up statement tonight, man. Remember who you are. Be toxic. As always, I am Vico, the bearded one.
I'm the Jarl. Stay weird, beardos.
And I'm Caldarise. Go fuck yourself.
Cheers, motherfuckers.
Later. Cheers, boys.
You've played this game before.
Oh, it's so good.
I ran it out.
I love it.
Your mind was made up. Once you walk through the door. Then you go dancing dirty. Hips moving all back and forth. Making them sexy eyes.
All right, let's go ahead and get started. Howdy, welcome to this week's episode of Vikings, Outlaws, and Cowboys. I'm your host, JT. You can call me Vico the Bearded One today. We've got a special guest for a take two.
Take two.